Welcome back. 10 o'clock Friday. Happy Easter weekend for those who celebrate. I don't, but, well, I celebrate by sleeping in. Well, I try to. I do have kids. ToeJam and Earl, we're back again to get our poor ToeJam off this funky planet. This is game 3, ToeJam and Earl for the Sega Genesis of our Retro Challenge. Picking up again. As yesterday, we are playing with ToeJam and we're playing Fix World. I may, depending on how frustrated I get, plug in a podcast. The music in this game is very repetitive. Take that elevator, up we go. I told myself, if ever I get below 2 lives, and I'm above level 15, I'll probably cancel the run. Mainly because, I mean, you can go on such a streak, but I don't want to get to level 18 or 17 with 1 life. Take that road, you go a little bit faster, just a tad. Really? I want to try to use some of the presents early. So I get something stupid, at least I don't have far to go back up. And so identify the good ones. Wings, inner tube, high tops, all that stuff. We want to get that early. Fudge Sundays for healing. Just random level up. Alright. I will try to use my cough button more. I'm still sick. Chugging Benadryl today. Not a good week, man. Not a good week. So much for discovering our presence. Now they're completely random again. Pretty sure it was over here. I want to say I have this one. Yep, there we go. And I want to say there's a road down here. Yep. A stupid dentist which killed me last time. God damn. Tomato rain. I mean, sure. Why not? First view, not so bad. Holy crap. Yeah, that's not right, man. It's not right. Especially when it drops me there. Like, The problem is, for level 6, I need high tops or spring shoes or something to get across the small gap. Really? No, fuck off. Son of a bitch. But that's pretty much what I'm talking about. Finding those so you don't randomly get them later on in like a little tent or something. I'm getting there. Really? Alright. Here we go. Could have sworn 7 was near some water. Maybe not. Whoa, whoa. Come on, get up. And it is. The bees don't get me first. I want to play a new game. I was thinking Assassin's Creed Origins. Ugh, come on. Crazy. So many shots. Thing Assassin's Creed Origin, I haven't played, I think, ever Assassin's Creed games. I almost tried that Pyro one. Almost. And then Unity had such a terrible launch. But Origin, it's got good reviews. So I think I want to check that one out. Of course, I went to install it, and it needs over 100 gigs. Which, I mean, most modern gamers have SSDs, but do really most have more than 256 gigs? Like, I have a 500 gig one, which works out to be about 400 something. And I don't have 100 free. I mean, oh crap. But it's not like I have much installed either. But I do have Elder Scrolls Online installed, and that takes up quite a bit. But that's an MMO. Like, online games I expect to take that much space. But Assassin's Creed, 100 gigs? Like, what the hell is it installing? I don't know. Taking my voice down just a touch. I don't need all that compressor. Especially when I'm packing up lungs left and right. Thought I had this one pegged, but I guess not. Ah, there it is. All right. As long as I keep those lives up, we're okay. Just bees everywhere. Seriously. How many bees there gotta be? Oh, piss off. Oh, son of a bitch. Probably should use high tops. Oh well. So oh, here it is. The elevator is down the bottom corner. That's where I learned I didn't need an inner tube to swim. It's just a lot easier. Come on. Crap. crap. Gonna die. Shit. Made it. We made it. What I need is some healing. If I get that, I'll feel okay. Now, where the hell is it? Well, went from no presents to a bag full. Full health. The game changes that quick. Tons of rose bushes, though. Not very helpful. Well, that's not fair. They can be. Hope it's here. There it is. So 11 is way at the other end. Three lives, 12. So far, so good. Come on. Fuck, I don't even go this way. Ah. This one, I don't remember at all. Well, alright. There's the elevator. On. Wow. What a jerk move. Oh, whoa, Jesus. Not happy with 2 lives. Not happy. Oh, come on. Close. Close one. Where the hell is it? Wow. Literally all the way around. Oh, come on. What the hell? The fuck? Should have been a nice, easy level. Fucking the cheapness. I don't know. So this is pretty much halfway point. But now you can see what I'm saying about lives. When you can lose the lives so easily. I don't know. I told myself I would stop if I had less than 2 lives, but that's the reason why. They killed me last time too. They're so fast, and the damage they do is ridiculous. And these fucking chickens don't help either. Wow. $16. Kaufman is doing damn all. Ah, 16. Fuck. Another one where I can't remember. Fuck. Ah! Asshole. Fuck off. Fuck off. Son of a bitch. Last time I did this level, I had wings. I mean... Alright. Let me take a 10-minute break. I need more water. I'll be right back.
You can't restrain me. You can search me. I'll give it all up just to be with you. I'm so happy. Now you got me. I'll surrender all my love to you. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby. Please don't leave me hanging. Oh, oh, oh. It's a lockdown, baby. You drive me crazy. but I may be committing a crime of the first degree. I'm not pretending, I mean what I'm saying. I'm coming in with my hands held high. Gotta face it, I'm not gonna make it without your love, and I got nowhere to go. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby, please don't leave me hanging. Oh, 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 no, it's a lockdown, baby, you drive me crazy. Ain't no escaping, your love has got me doing time. You're my attorney, my judge and jury. I'm pleading guilty, so lock me up for it, please. Oh, babe, hey, hey. I said lock me up for it, please. Hey, hey. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Lock me up for it, please. You can't restrain me. You can search me. I'll give it all up just to be with you. I'm so happy. Now you got me. I'll surrender all my love to you. Don't you see what you're doing to me? I'm in love and I can't break free. Now I'm begging with you, baby. Please don't leave me hanging. Oh, oh, oh. It's a lockdown, baby. You drive me crazy. Ain't no escaping. Your love has got me doing time. You're my attorney, my judge and jury. I'm pleading guilty, so lock me up for it, please. Oh, oh, yeah. I said lock me up for it, please. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Lock me up for it, please. Ooh, baby, it's a lockdown, baby, you drive me crazy. Ain't no escaping, your love has got me doing time. You're my attorney, my judge and jury. I'm pleading guilty, so lock me up for it, please. Lock me. You gotta take away the key, my baby. Lock me up for it, please. Keep me in there. Lock me up for it, please. Hey, pretty baby, come and save me. I got a confession for you. Call me crazy, but I may be committing a crime of the first.
All right. Still pissed about that death. Oh, fuck you. No. I hate the truck. Fuck. Fuck that level. Ah. Need some health, need some lives. I don't know if eating the food when you're full is a good idea. On the one hand, you save it if you need it. On the other hand, you get points, I assume. More points, you level up. Fuck that level. Moldy bread, moldy cheese. Isn't that cute? Over so easy. Over so easy. Fucking annoying. Okay. I'm gonna do this. Gonna do it. First attempt was 2 hours. Second attempt, an hour. We're just gonna listen to a podcast as we do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Cause I'm gonna go
back
crazy.
to Friday, March 30th. The
Giant Beastcast, my favorite podcast.
Nope. The March Ides is in the middle of the month.
March of Madness.
What are Ides?
Ides mean middle?
The Ides of March?
Yeah.
This is March 15th, isn't it?
I believe so.
Beware the Ides of March.
But if I said the Ides of August, would that mean August 15th?
No.
What about the Ides of April?
All right, let's
Yes.
try it again.
I don't know. Can any month
That's
have
when
Ides?
Caesar was-
What the fuck is an Ides?
No, it's
when
language
Caesar
we
was
don't
killed.
use anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. No, I thought it was V for Vendetta.
What?
That's
remember.
Remember.
The 5th of November.
The Ides of November.
That's not Caesar.
March 30th, 2018, the end of March, the beginning of spring. These things are all true. It's 2018, also true in episode 149th, the truest form of the Giant Beast Catch, which is the show you are listening to. Wait until we get to 150, folks. It's going to be a real banger. A lot of change-ups, a lot of big things happening.
Oh, the special guests will knock your socks
Actually,
off.
we do have a special guest.
We do.
That's
but it's
fun.
also just going to be an episode of the show.
It will be. We're going back to our roots, getting rid of Dan.
Yep. Yeah.
150.
Been New Orleans for a long time. Finally, they got my letters.
You listen to the greatest Beastcast. You listen to the greatest podcast in the world. It is the Giant Beastcast. Very happy to have the crew, the entire crew, the crew we love to pieces back here, starting with Alex Navarro,
Oh, I'm going to love someone to pieces before this is all done.
Ew.
Abby Russell.
Count me out. Can
And-
not me.
Well, you're part of the crew.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Count me in.
Okay.
That was meant to be a 13 Deadly Sims reference.
That's a fun one.
Oh, gotcha. I wasn't there for that episode. Dan Reichert.
Hello, some stuff happened in that episode.
It sure did.
I contributed.
And, of course, Jeff Backler.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here.
Jeff, we
glad I could
missed
be
you.
here.
Jeff, you're great.
Every week is a pleasure.
We like you a lot.
Jeff.
As a person, as a coworker.
You know,
no,
That
no,
is
we're
true.
not. No,
I'm not
no
sure.
Bits,
I'm not sure every week.
Why do you assume that's a
Is
bit?
the way I'd qualify that.
Quit joking around and complimenting Jeff Backlar.
we all
Not
know
funny
the
anymore.
real story.
We know you're full of shit, Abby.
The readers see through this.
No
Readers.
Bits. We'll go back.
All right.
So let's
Level 2.
God,
Let's
imagine
go.
reading a podcast.
Okay.
Gotta start
Let's
somewhere.
hear it. Let's do the Florida thing, and then let's
no, what are you talking
do
about?
the
Jeff,
snow.
We're not a
thing,
one-trick pony.
I don't
bro.
understand this reference.
And then
What do you-
I'm stupid and smelly.
No, you're
wait a
great.
minute.
We didn't say smelly.
buddy.
No. I I sit next to you every show.
Not on the air.
You
at
have a
least.
very neutral smell.
Neutral?
You don't
Yeah.
have a smell. No.
Hey,
I always sit next to you.
I got a
No.
joke for you. Ready?
I want a
how
good
does Jeff
smell.
Backlar smell?
How does he smell?
Like that.
Okay, you've
Your-
been hanging
your
out with your
kid
kids
teaches
too
you
long.
It was in the kids section of the New York Times. It was pretty funny. I thought.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Wait, how did they
Hey.
How did
write
they
out
write that?
sniff?
Yeah. How did they go?
It said like brackets, sniff, and inhale loudly.
Okay.
Also, what kid is reading the New York Times?
There-
Even the kids
there-
section.
Once in a while, they have like a kids thing, and this one
Do
had
they?
jokes in it.
Or like
Yeah.
What am I
comics.
doing?
never read
Picking that up?
What am I doing?
New York Times, I don't think that's
Oh,
comics.
okay.
Get me off his
Well,
island.
I read some paper
It's
that.
like a full section that's like kids, and it's like kids reporting. Hey, what's Snapchat up to?
This is just like a
What?
little kid in a trench coat and a bowler hat with a press thing in it, like
kind
going
of.
around
Yeah, like
interviewing.
math squad.
It's like Wonder Shows in.
There is a great part in the kids section. It only comes out like 2 or 3 times a year, but there always is a thing of like quotes from kids that I find to be the most hilarious thing and the best news reporting on the planet, because it's always quotes like, "I think people should eat more cheese doodles because they're delicious." Ellen, 8, or like, we should stop having presidential elections and just play video games because they are more fair.
Honestly, this is like way better than anything in the New York Times opinion section right
it's-
now. So
It's fantastic. But
watch out, Brett Stevens. The kids
Yeah.
are coming for you.
Oh, he's known that for a while.
Back to me. Back to me.
Yeah, well, Jeff Backlar, you're fantastic. You're great. It's sunshine in my life. It's like a light bulb has illuminated in this studio.
He loves
Yes.
attention. He's got to be loving this.
Feels
It's
good.
incandescent.
Eating it all up.
Attention.
I'm glad to have you back. Glad you stopped the snow from coming down. We were actually able to be here for what feels like a full week.
Like I said last week, I could have been there. I could have been here.
Yeah,
The roads were clear.
love
I guess
Scott.
last
You
run
chose
too.
not
I
to.
lost a
It's
life
not that
because
I
that
chose not
package.
to.
She chose not
That
to.
the people
that hurt.
who run my child's daycare, which I have bones to pick with,
I don't know. Sounds fake to me.
they closed the school that we pay for.
Oh,
It's not like it's a public school. And they were closing. They were like, "Oh, we can't have anyone come in today."
yeah.
So Jeff, guess what? You should
What?
stay home with your sick wife and your very excited and alert son who
Of,
needs attention.
of 19 years.
Don't parents have a whole like Rolodex of possible babysitters? Like, oh, Ashley canceled. I can call up Susie. Like, don't you have a bunch?
What's a Rolodex?
Not
God, if
at
only.
like, not at 8
mean a
a.m.
You know how hard it is to
Your
find
phone?
babysitters you
I
can
get
Not
trust?
at 8 a.m. on a Thursday.
No.
Also,
no,
I do-
You're
they're
not planning
all,
ahead.
They're all in school.
Let me criticize your
well,
parents.
maybe
Isn't there
not.
like a nice old woman or something that lives down the street that you can just leave your child with?
Isn't there-
Dolores?
I don't
I'm
know.
not leaving him with Dolores.
I mean, everyone's got a Dolores, right?
There's got to be an app.
Oh,
There-
yeah.
I'm
Who
sure
wants
there
to
is.
trust? I mean, I guess they're probably.
Nobody.
Yeah,
But there is
no.
actually, we used, there is like a vetted service for childcare that you can use that is like, you can
Man.
find
Let's
people who
go.
work with children. I
Yeah.
don't know
Right,
if I'd
like
go-
have like a background
What's
check.
it?
and
I
all
know.
that
I've
shit,
heard
yeah.
of it. What is it called?
It's called Papa Vinny's got you back.
That's the worst app name ever.
See,
But
that type of thing would
Way too
scare
many
me
vowels.
because you heard of WAG, that like dog walking
yeah.
service. So I've heard about that for the longest time, and there's a bunch of missing dog flyers all over
Oh.
my neighborhood. And then we saw in the next door thing there that the guy was like, "Yeah, we got a WAG walker, and then our beloved dog Norman is gone,
Oh,
and
jeez.
it's been like a month since the dog's been seen last." And
What
it's like,
does
man.
WAG say? I guess
I think when they put up all the posters and stuff,
Oh,
because
my
I've seen them
goodness.
as far as like here, but yeah, it's all over the Upper East Side, and it's like they blew it. They lost this beloved family dog, and so I would not trust my dog or my
I
son.
kind of love every
or-
time you say beloved.
yeah.
I think he said. I think they used that word, and I was like, Norman was beloved. This is a tragedy.
that is
It makes
very
me
That, I
sad.
know
It's
that is.
very
It's
sad.
also like.
Don't trust random people with your
That
pets, for
person.
God's sakes.
I mean,
I think
it's
it would
like a
be
vetted service.
Not to say
Yeah.
anything about losing one's beloved pet, but I would really hope that wouldn't happen at all with the child's
Well,
care
right, but you
thing.
wouldn't know if it happens with a damn dog either. Like that.
Yeah,
that's
but
a
a
tragedy.
dog is just.
It is
you
a
know,
tragedy.
It
You're
is.
right.
It's.
I
Yeah.
think the dog is more tragic.
Well, I know how you
Well,
feel.
okay,
about
listen,
humans
everybody's
versus
entitled to their is or
dogs.
her opinion. You know,
No, but
I mean, I like dogs.
yeah, well, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that it's less of a bummer when a human goes missing, as
Yes.
opposed to a dog.
That is the exact thing that I was
Yes,
saying.
I understand.
It's that
I
old
realize
argument:
that.
dogs
Yes.
are human children.
Right? No, I think we're all.
And
on
I'm
the same
definitely being
page
very
there.
serious about this. I just want everyone at home to realize
Yeah.
that
Oh, no,
this is 100%
That's
serious.
not an uncommon opinion.
listen, you can't unsend that email
Yeah.
that has been
No,
sent.
it's done.
But it's never. when it's your kid, yes. If it's someone else's kid, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's how it
Anyway,
works.
yeah. So I'm sorry that you had to stay home and miss being here in person.
Yeah, I wanted to be here.
It's a lot harder to be on your toes and like get ready for some sparring.
Yeah, sure. I thought I did okay.
You did great.
Yeah, I just sat there and took it. So
No.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Jeff.
Shit.
We're talking about Jeff.
Yeah,
you know
we're
what?
talking about
I'm
me.
super excited to have Jeff Bakalar. Alex Navarro, do you know why I'm so excited to have Jeff Bakalar
Because our
here?
beloved family Jeff has returned to us.
Yes, finally. I will never use WAG again.
Yeah.
Dan Riker, do you know why I'm so excited to have Jeff Bakalar here?
Why is that, Benny?
You got to say a reason why.
Wait, I have to
Yeah.
guess?
Yeah, be clever.
Come on.
It's just, I don't know, when it's cold in here, it raises the general body heat
Oh,
of the
that's
room.
good. Yeah,
That's
okay.
not bad.
Abby Russell, do you know why I'm so excited to have Jeff Bakalar here?
Because he played Far Cry 5.
You actually guessed it. That is right.
Oh,
because
all right.
I know how you like
Far
to
Cry
segue.
5.
He
All
played
right.
Far Cry
Sick.
5. Jeff Bakalar, tell me you have finished Far Cry
I'm
5.
done with it.
You have reviewed Far Cry 5.
Mhm.
First, let's get this out of the way. What'd you give it?
16 cult members out of a grizzly bear.
Okay, that's pretty
wow.
high. I've heard mixed reviews, but that seems pretty high.
It's been a generous week.
What do you think?
So, oh boy. How do you-
Buckle
Lay it
up.
all out
Here
for
we go.
us.
All right. So, Far Cry 5 is a very fun game to play.
I was just
The
reading off the page.
The
here.
moment to moment action is awesome, and I love all that.
This is what I've heard.
It has a very strong start, very strong opening scene, in my opinion, and it is very soon after that where the narrative efforts in this game kind of crumble and fall apart.
Do they fall apart? And this is just, I haven't played it. Abby, you played some of it.
I have, yeah. I played a couple hours.
Do they
I'm still in the opening little island. But
fall apart or just go away?
Well, this is a conversation I've had with multiple people in the business, including people like Austin Walker. We had a long
Waypoint
Twitter chat about it. I think taking a step back, I realize the inherent difficulties, and Alex, you and I have talked about this as well. The inherent difficulties of like getting across a singular narrative in an open world game like this, where you will have an opening scene like the one in Far Cry 5 that's pretty compelling and engaging, and you're like, oh, well, this seems bad. I'd like to help everyone out here.
Yeah, why not?
Montana's nice. I was there once in 2004. I'm an
Okay.
expert.
Were you?
I was. I
Okay.
spent 2 nights in Billings,
I'm scared to
Montana.
open any of these.
I think that means you can be governor.
I was going to say,
I don't
I'm
know.
probably the most qualified
on.
person to be reviewing Far Cry.
Probably, yeah, in the world.
Come
In
on.
the world. So, you'll have that opening scene that's very strong, and then hours and hours and hours go by, and you kind of forget what is going on, and you're sort of just back to the whole mindless, let's kill these bad guys.
And there are
Who-
lots of them, right?
There
running
are
around
lots.
Montana.
Almost to the point where how could this many people even be in Montana? Like, is this cult tens of thousands of people?
Oh,
I don't know. You tell me.
It
Jesus.
felt like it.
Okay.
And they have pilots and doctors and
Well-trained.
chemists and all these expert people who I don't know where they came from, but they're all in this one small rural county
And
in
want it.
Montana.
I want you dead.
But you know what?
And they want to kill the fuck out of you.
But that's, I mean, that is a long-standing trope in just about any kind
Sure.
of genre. Like,
Sure.
you go back to like GoldenEye, and there's that scene at the end where there's the big satellite installation, all the people working for Sean Bean. It's like there's all these
Well-
just random dudes in khakis and
Henchmen.
polo
Yeah,
shirts,
henchmen.
just like
Yeah.
working on this thing. Like, where did they come from?
And I get it. If this was, populationally accurate, the game would be over in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
To try a few of these.
So I get that, and I think it's just fun to poke holes in
Yeah.
that. So yeah, hours and hours go by, and then you're reminded again about what is going on here. And I think the thing that I struggle with is I don't there's a lot of set pieces. There's a lot of banter that is charged and
Wow.
very directly
That
referencing
death one
certain
is
things. I'm
ridiculous.
just not
Like
sure-
politically?
politically and socially and
This
whatnot. and at the end of the day, it's like
Ridiculous.
This game really has nothing really important to say at all.
Which seems like it's so at odds with the way they presented it at that initial preview event.
Yeah.
You went to that, right?
So I did, and I had the shit scared out of me.
I mean,
at
they were
that.
deadly serious about
There
the
were
themes of this
certain
game.
things said in that where I was like, Jesus fucking Christ! Oh my God!
Oh,
And-
do they make good on any of that?
The Jesus fucking Christ?
Is that in the game? Yeah.
The last boss fight.
Yeah, the last time
Okay.
you fight Jesus.
No, do they make good on the like? Hey, this is a scary scenario.
I think in the first 15 minutes, and Abby, you've played that. That's a pretty intense couple of minutes.
Yeah, but the Far Cry
I don't think
games
it's the
have generally-
strongest Far Cry opening.
You don't.
Yeah,
But
I
I
also
think
find
it's
the
up
like
there.
main bad guy sort of dull.
Yeah,
Like
and,
I
So I
really
lose a
liked,
life and gain
the
a life.
last, who was the one in Far Cry 4?
Pagan Min?
Pagan
Yeah,
Min.
he was
Yeah,
great.
I liked
Yeah.
Pagan Min
and
a lot.
Voss from 3.
And he was like charismatic and
At least it's
interesting and
fair.
like
Yep.
engaging in a way that was like, oh, you're charming, but also
Sure.
like fucked up and crazy.
All right.
Whereas this guy is like feels very much like southern kind of extremist in
All
a way
right.
that's not as
Not so bad.
interesting.
yeah, like an episode 2 true detective bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You know,
All
like,
right, yeah.
so I don't know. So there's
But-
that.
How about all right? So the story stuff.
Got an
aside,
unfall,
Right,
which is
and,
not
and
so
again,
bad.
like,
How's the
you know, my
running?
review, I
It's up
definitely
still.
touched on the narrative stuff, but for me, and what most people ask me is,
We haven't
am I gonna
uncovered the
like this
rocket
game?
skates
Is it
yet,
worth
though.
the
Yeah.
60
I'd like
bucks
to know what
play?
those
And
are.
to that answer, I say, yeah, this game's a shit ton of fun to play.
Seems like a lot of fun to
And
play.
they did really good refinement and finessing of the formula.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for me, Far Cry, whenever I jump off, or I'm sorry, I'll use the correct vernacular. Whenever I bounce off
Yes.
whenever I bounce off a Far Cry, it's because I'm like, I'm done with fucking crafting. I'm done with all this
Oh,
shit.
sure.
I don't need another bearskin bag to carry more rockets.
800 bearskins to make a wallet.
And now they've kind of streamlined the crafting is in the weapon wheel, so you don't have. Again, it is sort of like just a needless task, but you do it in mid wheel and you're fine.
I
And
was
you move
actually
on.
kind of bummed out by that because I did like the hunting in Far Cry 3 and 4 a lot.
There are
like, I thought it was
incentives
like,
to
I need another
hunt.
cassowary and I'll get
Yeah.
another wallet or something. But from what I've read, like I've heard you talk about it, I read Austin's review. It sounds like it's almost more like Wolfenstein 2's upgrade, where it's like if I do this thing, if I get this many kills in this way or with this weapon,
Yeah.
I get a point that I can put into
So
something.
they
It's a
have
perk
so the
system, yeah.
perk system is based off challenges, and also you can physically find these magazines that equate to perk points.
What's on the
In-
magazine?
I'm sorry.
What's on the magazine?
The magazine are just like field and stream.
Okay.
You know, and you're like,
Guns
oh
and ammo.
shit.
Yeah, I know how to
Let me
fish now.
flip through that, and all of a sudden I can take a better, a harder fall, or
So-
something like that.
In
Whoa,
talking
whoa,
to
whoa.
Jeff Gerstmann, he seemed to, again, not having played it, but
Whoa, what's with the
say that
controls?
some of the perks after you get the ones you're really after, not as much incentive to go.
Yeah,
fill out
there's
the
only
rest of
about
it.
8 perks I gave a shit about.
Right. So once you
Yeah.
get those, like, do you
You're
need to go
good.
kill a bear anymore?
You're
Or-
good.
Okay.
Uh,
Not that you should. That should be the incentive of the game, but you know what
yeah,
I'm saying.
by the time I was finished with the
Rules are a
game,
little bit
I would
screwy.
say maybe there were like 40 or
Odd.
50 perks, and I had only done like 30 or 35.
and you were pretty happy with your playstyle.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was happy after like the first dozen or so, because you want to get like the third and fourth weapons slots unlocked,
Yeah.
and then after that, you're sort of just dicking around.
It seems from everything I have watched of it, having been kind of in touch with people who and followed the press cycle for this whole thing since the beginning, I think we all really never had the expectation that they were going to be able to pull this off tonally for
Well,
the story, right?
So I think like
Where
I
was
think the
this
message
one?
they got across that first time with the debut maybe kind of went a little beyond what they were going for when they
Maybe.
were like, "Oh, we messed some people up,"
Yeah.
because of what they were suggesting they would be tackling, right?
Or implied.
I get
right?
this one.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
because militias and sort of like kind of anti-government, whether you attach cult to that or not, but
Right.
like that kind of sort of survivalist.
Yeah, the
elements.
preppery
And,
kind of.
and
Yeah.
placing it in the United States at,
Yeah,
at a time.
at a politically charged
Right.
time.
And again, like the backstory was there where, Dan Hay was like, oh, I had this idea like a decade ago and, sort of like watched it, I
Oh
think
my
the
God.
timing of everything kind of lined up in an even
Yeah.
more eerily fashion.
So all that being said, the presentation, I don't think, for me personally, I wasn't prepared for them to really
Nail it.
nail this one. So I'm okay. It's hard for me to be disappointed that it's a Far Cry story. As
Yeah.
long as
And I came to realize that the time between the debut and then E3 is when I came to that conclusion where I was like, oh, they're not.
Once
this
they
is a
start
Far Cry
showing
game.
just
This
like
is a
the
far fucking Cry game.
Yeah,
The
the
first trailer.
Yeah.
The first trailer.
pretty
Right.
emphatic that
Yeah.
like you're still going to be doing a
Yeah.
ton of
Yep.
dumb shit.
So
And
yes, so the thing in the first trailer was like, oh, okay, let's put aside maybe the interesting story of like they got something interesting to say, and maybe I'll get on board for the hijinks that are on here. And it sounds like the hijinks are there.
Hijinks, yeah.
Yeah,
Plenty of hijinks.
hijinks. Are the jinx high, Abby?
I'm not super far in,
So medium.
so I don't know. But I will say the gameplay is very fun. I'm having fun so far. I'm not burnt out on the Far Cry series. I played Far Cry 4 and loved it. I'm excited to play more. It looks amazing. Like, it makes
What are
me
you playing
very
on?
excited for Red Dead 2.
PS4?
I'm playing on PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
4K.
The
Mhm.
HDR in the game is
It's beautiful.
noticeably
Yeah.
I think I'm
awesome.
almost
The game,
ready to get
it's like the best looking, realistic looking game I think I've
Wow,
played.
really?
Yeah,
Really? Holy
like,
shit.
well, there's a lot of really good, especially when you start getting the helicopters and stuff like that, where you could like just kind of take in the forest and everything, and
How high can you
the
fly?
draw distance. There is a ceiling
There is.
where all of a sudden the helicopter's like blah, 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 blah. Man, there's a couple of real funny things that happen to me during my gameplay, like where around the end of the game. You have these guns for hire, which are these 9 unlockable people you find in the world and animals.
Oh, there's only 9?
There's 9. There's 6 humans and 3 animals.
Oh, okay.
And that stuff's great. I love all the guns for hire. They're all specialists, right? They all have like one of them's a heavy kind of like rocket launcher. One's a sniper.
Can they ever be taken out permanently? like-
No, they'll never die forever.
Okay.
One of them is straight up Danny McBride.
Wait, is it actually him doing the voice?
It's might as well be.
Okay.
They come in super handy. Sort of directing them on the fly is real fun. Sometimes they'll take your helicopter and fly away, and you're like, "What the fuck? I wanted that. That was silly." There was one part where like the game was like not allowed to have a gun for hire with you, and my
Shut
NPC was
up.
like flying the helicopter I was in,
Great.
and the game like just decided like this person can't exist right now, and the plane just like spiraled
Wait,
down
did you die?
and crashed. Yeah, and I died.
Do you have a wingsuit?
You have a wingsuit real early too.
That's really silly.
It's great.
Why?
It's just so
Are
stupid.
there any narrative reasons for any of the upgrades?
Nothing really jumps
Okay.
out. But, like the wingsuit is just so great because it's like, oh, you can actually fly in this game. like you only need a pebble, and you can
Jump
clear
off
enough
and then
air
fly.
where you can just start taking off.
I want to play. I just have to scrounge up $60 and just go plunk down for
Yeah,
it.
and there's like the value is there. I mean, the campaign is super long. I don't know how many hours it took me, but it was a while.
Do you think it'd be a good one? Like, I'm planning on playing through this whole thing co-op. Is this like the structure of co-op from what you've seen?
Yeah.
Like, can I play through the whole thing with my wife?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay. That's the plan.
There's no split screen, right? You need to do the 2 PS4
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the Far Cry arcade.
Don't be a jerk.
Jeff, I heard mixed
Don't
things
be a
about.
jerk.
Yeah, I mean, it's on paper, it's real cool. It's sort of like the sandbox where you can design your own levels and mess with like a bunch of the properties like
Yeah.
gravity and.
That's the multiplayer, right?
I don't know if I think you can do co-op. It's not like strictly multiplayer.
Okay.
It's sort of just like this gallery
level
of maps
designer.
that you can, and it's a level designer. You can design your own stuff. The ones that I played before the game came out was ones that were designed by Ubisoft or I don't know, like an enthusiast or something like that. And some of them were just like walking sims where you like go through like a horror haunted
Where the
house.
hell's
and
this
sort of just
elevator?
reach this point and you would finish the map. Some of them were just shooting galleries sort of things where you'd kill enemies over and over. From what I hear, some of the community design ones are pretty good.
And they're just they just populate in a browser.
Yeah, it's just sort of like a menu system.
Okay. Is it curated? Do you know, or is just
I don't know if
based
it's
on popularity?
curated, but you can vote on them, and I guess the good ones float to the top. And it's weird, like you can access a Far Cry arcade cabinet from like a bunch of the strongholds.
I saw that in the
You
quick
could
look,
see,
yeah.
you can grab it off a poster, or you could just go to the menu
Okay.
and do it.
All
So
right.
that's
Seems like some goofy
yeah.
stuff happening in there.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of the baggage that came
Get
with the
up,
game
get up.
sort of turned out to be just a kind of a misstep. a little bit.
I think it's self-made by
Yeah.
presenting that kind of narrative in a sensitive time that was
Totally.
looking to be like, wow, okay, are you going to
Yeah,
do
and
this?
maybe it was leaned into more than it should have been.
Yeah.
And I
I
feel
just-
like my expectations have been tampered thanks to you and Austin and stuff. Like I now have no expectations for the story. In fact, I just kind of expect it to be kind of lame. I've heard about some of like NPC dialogue and just the
like
kind
a
of
lot of
depiction
that stuff
rural life
falls
and everything.
real flat. Like there's a plenty of eye rolling bullshit in this
Yeah.
game. Where you're just going to be like, come on.
Yeah, and like lame stuff like the find the P tape mission and stuff. That sounds pretty dumb.
Like
Yeah.
I'm. It's just weird to me. Like I totally understand the notion that like, hey, it's another Far Cry game, so of course it's gonna be you're mostly just gonna be doing dumb shit.
Literally
and
bottom
that's
right.
fine. I get that, but it's just like, why? What research are you actually gleaning?
I mean,
from-
in the development. not
Yeah,
in
during the
game.
development cycle, because like it doesn't really feel like you got anything out of that meaningful, other than to say, well, this is the kinds of weapons these guys use, and this is maybe some of the tactics they use. I guess I don't know, but it just feels more like not a thing that like actually applied to any of the game that they were making.
I don't know. I mean, I assume developers have all sorts of research they do that maybe doesn't pan out, but I think so much of it it just resonates a little deeper because of what we're going through as a society and nationally, and especially in the States here.
And I'm not saying they needed to rewrite their whole game to make it, address the times, but it's just like I think it's understandable that people would react to something like that.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that was
given the
painful.
current,
Yeah.
climate,
All the way
and just
around.
sort of be like having a
All
thing
the
where
way
you were playing
around.
around in this environment and saying nothing just feels a little weird.
Yeah.
It all felt extremely intentional, and then it sounds like it sounds like in the game almost seems coincidental, right?
Yeah.
It goes from this like we are intentionally seeking out to do this thing, and then from oh no, it just happened to be
Yeah.
Montana and a cult, and there's all this other narrative stuff that is just like just happens to be,
Yeah.
and that's odd.
I think like there's a bit of like understanding to have to go into like how hard it must be to design a campaign. I don't disagree that like maybe you don't even touch the fucking thing, right? Like I get that too, but it's tough.
I think that's the big misstep there is that press event because like every preview that came out from everyone that went to that press event was like, wow, they're really going to say
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah.
And that built those expectations where if they didn't do it that way at the press event,
Like if you
It
had just
wouldn't be
debuted it
this
with that
big thing.
trailer, everyone would be like, okay, well, we know what we're
it's
getting.
a Far Cry game
yeah.
set in the
Right.
States.
And it was like literally like weeks between that debut and that trailer, and everyone going, "Oh."
I
all
remember
right.
seeing that trailer first and just being like, what? Like, okay. Well, why didn't you say that?
And in retrospect, it shouldn't have been surprising at all. It's just that their setup was really weird.
the setup was bad.
Yes.
Isn't there the Far Cry movie?
Yeah,
that
there is like
on
live
Netflix?
action shit you can go on Netflix and watch.
That is like the whole cult thing
Yeah.
as well. Like
With-
they
Wait,
made,
is that
yeah.
the Far Cry movie? Isn't that the Uwe Boll movie?
No, they shot like
that's
a
what I
half,
thought for at first too.
I
But
believe it's like a half-hour short film
Yeah.
Ubisoft did with the actors. Some of the actors are pretty good in the game. What was I going to say? I do want to touch on one part of the game that I really, really like. Probably my favorite part are the stashes.
Mm.
These are like 100 or so of these prepper stashes that you get clues about, and they're like these mini puzzles.
Oh, they're like the little platforming puzzle type
yeah,
things.
some of them are platforms. Some of them are a little more like hunt and gather kind of stuff. Super into them.
Is that the thing I did in the beginning where I had like there was like a little bunker and I had to go and find like
The
the power,
Yeah.
and then I had to drain the water?
Yeah, there's like 100
Oh,
of those.
cool. That
and
was
they're-
fun.
and
I
they're
was
all
into that.
totally, mostly for the most part, completely different.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so those are a lot
Oh,
of
that's so
fun,
fun.
and you can actually in those hide the perk points as well.
Oh, cool.
which are cool if you don't want to worry about the challenge stuff. Yeah, so I'm super into the action in that game.
Mhm.
Real satisfying, lots of explosions and nonsense, and
And a bear named Cheeseburger.
a bear named Cheeseburger.
there's a bear
And
named
by the way, pet as many of the animals as you can because there is something so oddly realistic about like how they were able to capture the kind of like
all mocap.
subtlety. Yeah, but the kind of like subtleties of a dog that are super fun. Yeah,
Sorry, I pulled up the trailer for Far Cry Inside Eden's Gate.
yes. Or as my son refers to it,
One way
a
around.
fart cry.
Okay, Fart
pretty
Cry.
good.
I said, I don't know. Let's try.
Is that like one of those "what's the sound of one ham clapping" sort of things?
Exactly that, Alex.
Can a fart cry?
Can a fart cry? Can a fart whisper?
So I guess the movie is free for Amazon Prime.
Oh, it's on Prime. I thought it was on Netflix.
I
I'm
thought it was
sorry.
on. I said Netflix. 30 minutes. Yeah. Anyway, I will probably play this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people have been asking me, should I play this? And I say, absolutely, just maybe muted.
I kind of skipped 4. I played a bit of 4. I had some trouble running it on my PC, something like real bad crashes and bugs and stuff. Didn't touch Primal, and I feel like I'm just about ready for some more Far Cry.
If you didn't touch Primal, the time's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel ready for it. I similar thing. I mean, I played a ton of 4, but I didn't play Primal at all. I feel like I'm ready for like, oh, cool, mindless shooter. That's just fun. And like whatever, the story sucks, but that's fine.
I am curious to hear everyone's take on the ending when that becomes
Sure.
more of like a thing.
Let's just talk about it right now.
We already talked about the boss fight with Jesus. Like
Jesus
that's already.
fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't The Sims, Abby. Okay. I made a real bad mistake and would probably have played Far Cry if I didn't blow like $60 on
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege.
So $60.
Did you already have it?
I own it.
What is
Come
it?
Then why did you
on.
buy it for $60?
The people that you can play as from season 2 and then the season 3 pass.
Is it just cosmetics?
No, they're the new. They roll
the
out
hero stuff.
the different.
So you bought more content, is what you're saying, for a game that you already owned.
Yeah,
Sounds
Okay.
okay.
that I play
DLC.
once in a while. I don't really play competitively, but
You played with
it
your
was
fam,
taking
right?
so long for my brother to get in the game, and I was just sitting there waiting. I
That's
was
how
just
they get
sitting
you.
there waiting, and
They
I
got-
was like, "Oh, these operators. I'll just call them operators. Look pretty cool. Like they have different weapons."
We
It's-
always talk about why does Ubisoft
Oh.
like inundate you with those ads for like DLC in the menus, and guess what? You're why.
He had to download an update. It was taking forever. I'm just sitting there.
Why didn't you just get into a match and then quit out when he was done?
Or why didn't you just eat a bunch of Chinese food like you usually do instead of wait
Yeah.
for him?
But because it was
Jeff,
like
please don't bully.
10 o'clock at night. We're not
Jerk.
doing that bit, Abby.
I know, the truth hurts.
Because it was
No.
too late and I was out of Chinese food. All the
Fuck. Oh,
Ah, there it is.
son
but
of a
like,
bitch.
You know, I was just sitting there waiting, and then finally was like, okay, yeah, I played a decent amount of this game. I'm gonna kick it another $20, and then wind up buying. The
Oh, so
season,
you only...
then buy the season 3 pass for another like $30 or whatever.
Oh, see,
Anyway, it was cool. The person I played as was cool, but I was still playing that new Outbreak mode, the 3-person co-op
Ah, yes.
against the aliens
Hmm.
/ virus thing, and that's a fun mode. If anybody has Siege and isn't really interested in just the kind of defense, offense, house stuff, this is a very different 3-person co-op where you're just shooting like hordes of zombies and kind of bigger bosses at the end in the world of Siege, and you get the specific characters you can play as. I think it's actually kind of neat. It's very hard,
Mm.
but yeah, I spent like $50 on Siege. That's me. It's giving Ubisoft that money.
Well,
They got it. They got my money.
I have also been enjoying an Ubisoft games post-release content.
What Ubisoft game are you enjoying?
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh.
It continues.
Yeah, so what is the new DLC?
Is it the Curse of the Pharaohs, Pharaoh's Curse, something along those lines.
Okay.
But it is the new like campaign DLC. It takes place in Thebes, which is the old
the Sea of
capital.
Thebes.
Yeah, the Sea of Thebes. There you go. There it is.
Oh, Vinny,
What?
no.
What? Bring
No,
it.
nothing.
What?
This is just
Calm
reminding
down. Calm
me
down.
about the missed opportunity of the Passover DLC. Remember we talked about that?
Wait, did
Passover starts this evening.
we talk about that? Because
We
that seems
talked
kind of dark.
We talked about Assassin's Creed Origins : Passover.
You sure?
I have no idea what you're talking
We didn't
about.
talk about this.
I don't
With
remember this.
all of
This is a
us? 'Cause
dream.
I don't
What would-
remember. You
would-
dreamed it.
What would Bayek? What role would Bayek play in this?
You
Also, I
buy-
think the timeline is wrong for that.
it doesn't matter. The Passover stuff never happened.
Could be knocking on doors, or
I just- I don't know. I just feel like I don't know, the plagues. Can you fight the plagues?
he is the plague.
Yeah, Bayek's
Well,
the plague.
this is not unlike a plague because as of the time that Bayek shows up in Thebes, which takes place like I want to say like 4 years after the events of the main game, it is being haunted by crazy pharaoh demons that keep
Oh,
showing up and
there you
fighting
go.
people.
Yeah, I think, nailed
What's
it.
the difference between that and freaking
Nothing.
grasshoppers falling out of the sky?
So there's a big old curse happening, and
hell are
you
you
have to
talking about?
investigate and find out why that's happening, and then you also have to like fight the pharaohs when they show up every once in a while. They're sort of like the Phylactetes, like
Okay.
the way they show up, but they show up randomly, and you can't always beat them. They just sometimes they'll disappear before you beat them.
But they're leveled up. Like, what are we talking
no.
level-wise?
I mean, they're strong, but they're not. They usually seem scaled to where you are.
okay.
But the main thing is that like there's also a whole section of that DLC called the Valley of the Kings, which is where a lot of the big like pharaoh tombs are. And when you go in there, at least 4 of them have these special zones that you go into where basically you cross over into the afterlife.
That's fun.
Oh.
Which part of the afterlife?
The Field of Reeds.
Oh, yeah?
You are literally going into
Okay.
these different sections of the Field of Reeds, and then you're there, and there's all these like Anubis-looking dudes that that take the place of the normal human guards, and they're hanging out, and they're just sort of like protecting the people that are there. But then you go murder them, and then you go steal everything, and then maybe you do like a mission for someone who lost a loved one, and you want to know where they are and reunite them in the
Are
afterlife.
you like a spirit cop now?
No, you're more of a spirit menace, because you're going into the afterlife and you're just kind of murdering all of Anubis's guards
Yeah,
and,
but they're
and
in
just
the
taking all their
afterlife.
shit. Like you're going into like shrines and just like taking all their coins that people have left as offerings.
So is this piece of DLC? I haven't followed the narrative stuff for this
Yeah.
DLC. Is this
All
just
right.
kind of
What the hell
side
was
story, not supposed to be canonical within the world?
No, I think it is.
Yeah?
Like, so the 2 main story DLCs, the first one was you go to I forget the location, but it's a smaller slice. It's like 3 areas you uncover.
And they time jump there, right? Like, don't they?
well, yeah, that also takes place a few years after the main game.
Okay.
But like, I think it all still ties into the
Yeah.
story. Like
this is like supposed to really be happening.
These are like the early missions of the hidden ones, which is essentially what the Assassin's Guild
okay.
morphs into.
Okay, that was the first DLC
Yeah.
as well, right? Okay.
Yeah, and so the first one, you're fomenting a rebellion against some of the Roman invaders,
Okay.
and then some shit happens with the rebellion, and it's a whole political thing.
Yeah.
This is much more fantastical.
Okay.
Because again, you are literally going to the afterlife and just hanging out there and stabbing dudes, which is weird, but also kind of cool. Like it looks neat. The little animals that are like running around like birds. It's like a human head on a bird's body, like a Egyptian statue style head.
That's cool.
Okay.
It gets weird and surreal in a way.
You're
that-
into this, man.
I am, because Assassin's Creed, I don't love the real world stuff. I don't necessarily love like the future stuff aspects of that. But when it just gets like super like surreal and strange, I
Yeah.
think is when it's kind of at its best. And it feels like the last couple of games didn't really dabble in that much at all. This is weird in a way that I like.
Cool.
I think I bought the season pass when I bought Assassin's Creed, kind of on your recommendation too.
Yeah.
and I'm excited to get into
You're
that
just
stuff.
nonchalantly spending all this money on the DLC and stuff, and then you cry that you don't have money to pay for Far Cry 5.
I
What
know.
the hell, man?
Well, it's all going to Ubi. They just.
that
It
doesn't
is all
make it any
getting there.
better or worse. I'm just saying.
I
Like,
know. I
you
know.
maybe just take
Slow it down a
responsibility
bit.
for your payments.
Well, I'm saying I don't have money. I'm not complaining about it.
And then it's rotting away in Assassin's Creed DLC.
What? Why you got to hate on Assassin's
I'm not.
Creed?
I'm just
Alex
saying.
loves it. Stop it.
Alex actually is compelling me to play it.
It's honestly, we give a lot of rightful shit, I think, to games that don't necessarily do the post-release stuff super well, especially like big single-player games. But I feel like Origins is kind of nailing it.
That's cool.
Like I've liked everything they've put out.
There
so
you
I
far
gotta
go.
make
to
it
some
through
degree.
the main game.
Holy
Yeah, there is
crap.
that. I think I'm at like 85 hours in that game,
Oh,
total,
wow.
including the DLC.
Wow.
Damn.
That's crazy.
It's too much.
I played a different game.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
It was my son's birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy birthday,
Thanks.
Max.
Thanks.
What Sonic game did you get him?
Did
So
you
he-
dress as Sonic?
No. No.
Oh, I would pay the money. I would pay for
To have me dressed as Sonic?
Yep,
I would
be
pay to
ver-
have you dressed as
Yeah.
Bloody Sonic.
As who?
No.
Bloody Sonic.
like EXE
Don't.
Sonic.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, you know about that? Oh,
He
no.
knows about
he
Bloody
was
Sonic.
he was
Oh,
there.
don't you fuck.
Oh my
He was
That was
on
a
that episode.
genuine
I
lapse.
know.
That was a genuine lapse, ladies and gentlemen. I saw it. I saw the
You saw the
recovery.
fear behind
I
his
saw the
eyes.
fear and then the quick recovery in your
Fear.
eyeballs.
You really were here. You were here. Boy, it's tough. Just making fun of me, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I'm making fun of you.
Cut this part out.
Well, as we all know, on this show we only roast the ones we love.
But usually
Yes,
we're not
Speak
here.
for yourself.
Usually we're
But, you,
remote.
but to qualify for that rule, you must be here.
It's true.
So he wanted Mario Kart. Mario
Okay.
Kart 8
Ah.
Deluxe.
Wow, he's got some good taste.
Yeah.
How do you hear about it?
He played it over his cousin's house. And I thought it was something he would like to because he really likes Sonic Racing Transformed 2, All-Stars Racing Transformed 2. I have not played a lot of Mario Kart outside of kind of this office and for the job and at home. I haven't played a lot and haven't played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe much.
So Mario Kart 8 is mostly or Mario Kart in general is an obligatory thing for you, not a pleasure game.
Yeah, it's one of those things that comes out and
Yeah.
people like it and we play some of it. And of course, it's Mario Kart.
Yes, it is.
It's not as good as Sonic Racing All Stars.
What?
Shit. Oh shit! I didn't think he was gonna go there. Did
So
you?
wrong.
Well, I
I
see
knew.
it.
I could see in the twinkle in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's like wants to stir up
It's a
some
real
shit.
shame this podcast is ending before we hit 150 episodes.
Yeah.
But this is what we have to
it's
do
all
now.
right.
We have to
So-
kill
You guys
it.
want to get lunch or something?
I mean,
all right.
look, Vinny, I've never
One
played
of the
this
best
whatever
games.
fucking Sonic game you're talking about,
Uh-huh.
but it must be amazing.
It's not. I've played it.
Yeah, it's
Here-
dog
it's-
shit.
here-
It's
totally
good.
It's fine.
It's good.
It's
It's
fine.
good.
Here are the pros
Okay.
and cons here.
All right, bring it on.
And let me
Okay.
know. Let me
Okay.
know how y'all
Break
feel.
it down for me.
And I'm going to talk about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about base
On
Mario
Switch.
Kart. On Switch. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has very nice kid-friendly features, like having that antenna that'll keep you on the road and keep you out of. You guys probably will turn this off, but
Is that like the bumpers when you're bowling?
Yeah,
a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit,
basically
but-
it's like if you start veering too far to
Yeah.
the side, it like
It is-
awesome.
Right.
auto steers.
yeah, it is a supremely forgiving.
Very
mechanic of
forgiving.
it,
Yes.
yeah.
Which is great for my 3-year-old daughter who just puts the
And just
controller
hit
down
A
and
and be
comes in
fine.
fifth.
Yeah.
Uh,
Walks away and comes in fifth.
great game. And so it has auto go, which is again a great feature. Auto acceleration, a great feature for kids.
It's
young
really
kids.
good for everyone, I will say. As someone who plays a lot of Mario Kart, I usually don't stop accelerating. It changes a little bit for the 200cc, but I still keep the auto go on and just brake for it.
Abby, I tried that after you recommended it this one time, and it just freaked me the fuck
Wait,
out.
Oh,
auto
really?
goes-
I
As someone
love
who's played like
Yeah.
muscle
I love
memory Mario Kart since 1991, like the idea of me not like feathering the gas and having direct control over
Wow.
that,
Oh, man.
I instantly after like
Twice.
2 turns like fuck this, no
wow,
way, no way.
fascinating.
Okay.
No, I love it. It's my hand will cramp because I will literally just hold it down the whole time.
Also, the
Mhm.
Gotta go
controllers,
fast.
They're tiny.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I got small hands.
So yeah, I think that's good. I think
Sweet.
it's great. I think
Abby's small hands are good.
yes,
That
pro.
too.
He thinks it's good. He thinks it's great. Keep going.
I think the motion control stuff I didn't really use. I kind of turned it off. Even for the kids, it was
Yeah,
kind
you
of
don't
It's
need
not. It's
that.
no
confusing.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about that too much. I think the rubber banding in that game is okay. So for an example, when Max plays, he can get first place on the 50cc kind of every time. When I join the 50cc and play like with him, he'll probably drop down to like third or fourth because the AI is usually trying to keep up with the fastest
Right,
player, right?
with you, yeah.
Which isn't terrible. Sonic Racing also has a very similar thing of like he can get first place when he plays single player, and then if I play, he kind of drops down.
Or
because
maybe
of
would it kill you
the
to like
scaling.
let him win?
No, we don't do that.
All right.
Good.
We don't do that.
We don't. Okay.
No, actually, he's gotten better.
Sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
We'll let
those
you get fifth, but you don't get to just win.
don't
Earn
win.
it.
some of the and it's a visually very stunning. I like that. I think it's sounds good.
All right. Get to the butt.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
just get to
Where
the
are
parts
we
I
at?
don't like.
Yeah, we all know Mario Kart
Yeah.
8 is
You guys,
fucking
you
awesome.
all know,
it's the
you all
greatest
love
game
Mario
ever.
Yeah,
Kart.
so
so
yeah.
you don't
it's
have to
fine.
yes
Hit me
us
with
there.
it.
I think the blue shell is bullshit.
It always
Oh,
has
no.
been.
What a groundbreaking revelation you just
Yeah.
dropped
Listen,
on us.
let's come to it as somebody who hasn't played a lot of
No,
Mario
you know
Kart,
what's
right?
bullshit is the blast radius around the.
I know.
No,
It sucks
that's
being in
also
second or
bullshit.
third
Okay.
and then hitting it.
Like-
but that's part of the game.
Yeah, it's
and
part
also,
of the game.
they put it on the fucking countermeasure with the
I
boombox.
know.
You should not be getting hit with that. If you were in first the whole time, you're gonna get a boombox. Hang on to that. You don't need the fucking coins or the bananas. You're
Oh,
getting
it's vulnerable
hang on
to
to the
that?
fucking boombox.
Wait, don't I need coins to get faster?
Get
You
10.
can
Yeah, get
drive
10.
over them. You don't need to get it in
What if I'm
your.
the first out of the
It
gate?
doesn't take up a slot.
Well, you get the coin pickup.
What?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
He's
There's a
saying
coin
there's
pickup.
the coin like in the item box. You can
No.
get coins.
Yeah,
don't hold
but
on to
like
that.
then you
No, don't
then
hold
you
on to it.
use it.
They're
and then,
everywhere. Just
Yeah,
run
Like
over
just
them.
run over it. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Right, but I can't get it if I'm holding on to a
You don't
boombox.
need it.
Just you
don't.
need that boombox more
But
than you need those 2
can
coins.
still drive over them and pick them up when
Yeah,
you're
I
holding
get
on to
that,
boom
but I
box.
can't get any other item because
You
that's
don't-
Well,
a
you can
don't
get it in
need
your
any other.
secondary thing.
What if I want to drop banana peels behind?
Why
me?
You
do you
don't
want
want
that?
to.
Who gives a
First
shit?
of all,
You're
never drop
fine.
banana peels behind you. Hold them
it.
behind you because you're going to get red shells.
Yes.
You're going to get green shells.
Yes.
You're going to get
Defense.
people trying
Wow.
to hit you from
It's
behind.
obsessive.
You keep that
Blocking
banana
maneuver.
behind
It's
you.
true,
baby.
though.
What if there's somebody to
Have you
tail
never
it?
played Mario Kart?
No, I play a real racing game like Sonic Racing Transform.
Oh, okay.
That
fair
is
enough.
skill based. That'll let you avoid.
What?
That'll
Vinny,
let
let's play some Mario Kart. We'll see if it's skill
Are
based
you
or
Yeah.
not.
seriously
Yeah.
giving me a railing against blue shells in 20 goddamn 18?
Okay.
Do you have any hot takes about whitewater while you're
Yeah,
at it?
seriously, dude.
Again, I'm telling you this as somebody who has
You got
not,
any Al Gore jokes just like waiting around here you want to throw at us?
Did you see that fun new Jim Brewer sketch?
Yeah.
You like Goat Man? Goat Boy? What
these
the
things.
fuck's that
These
guy
things
name?
can
Go,
be.
boy.
These
Go,
can be
boy.
You
fair.
excited to go see Con Air in theaters now?
No.
You're making a Twisted Metal 2?
These are fair arguments to have, but they
Yeah,
are
in
not.
20
But they are also not relevant to the comparable nature of Racing Transformed, these are elements that are in Mario Kart. They may have been there forever,
Yes.
but I'm also saying Racing Transformed has similar things, but nothing that is an automatic. You're going to get hit unless you have a boombox.
The thing is,
Painful.
Mario Kart, elements of Mario Kart have always been bullshit, and
Yeah.
that's part of Mario Kart.
Okay.
Just like the random bullshit that
That's
happens in like a
fine.
Mario Party. That's
Mario
part
Kart-
of Mario
I
Kart.
also
Mario
don't
Kart
think-
can be a 10.
Also, first
I
of all,
also don't
not
think
to
it's
Transforms
besmirch-
at
I
10.1.
also I don't think it's bullshit to have a blue shell.
No,
like
no,
I don't
I-
think it's bullshit to be in first place, have something that will most likely hit you, then you have to recover from that. I don't think that's bullshit at all.
Especially considering they do give you a countermeasure.
They do,
Well, hang
and
on.
it still hits every person in front of you. Like it has a chance. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Before it used to go over everyone. Now it goes through, so it can still hit all the other players. Like
Devil's advocate,
It
though,
is
as someone who's tried to go
here.
through all those speeds and get all the stars on everything, there is unavoidable shit. Like there are countermeasures against the blue shells, but there have been plenty of
What
times.
about the lightning
That
thing that
exactly. There have
shrinks
been
you?
times where I've had
But
all 10
everybody gets it.
coins and I'm about to cross the finish line and I get zapped. There's nothing I could have done about it. I lost the coins. I don't get 3 stars. But that's part of the game. That's
Okay.
always
Again,
been part of the
that's
game.
good,
There
like
is
I said.
also a countermeasure to lightning bolts, which is the
If
star.
you star,
Oh, damn
but yeah,
it.
but that's harder if you're in
I
first. You're not
know.
going to get a star.
I never
you know?
just-
And how do you
Someone
time that?
wasn't-
Wait,
Yeah,
you hit the
how
star
to-
after the lightning bolt?
there's
You
no
would happen-
timing it. You just would essentially have
You
to
luck
be
out.
Yeah, you'd have
invincible.
to-
yeah,
running
some of
it.
the games you could see. Some of the games with 2 screens, you could see what items other people have.
Oh,
but
cheating. Okay.
That's not cheating. That's everybody has the same
I
access
think
to
that's
it.
cheating.
Okay.
It's not like poker. Like you're not. It's not like you're not allowed to know what other people have.
I don't know. It's like if you're playing split screen, GoldenEye.
Yeah,
you
that's
you can
cheating.
see where
Yeah,
everyone
that's-
is.
that's two
Not if you built
GoldenEye
the cardboard
references in one
divider that I had.
podcast.
So okay,
guess.
so cons, the items that are there to take people out of first place, I think are
Okay, fine.
mean.
Moving along. What
Are
else?
Mean.
Are mean. I think the flying stuff in
Up here?
8, I'm not having a great time with. Like when you go
Oh,
through
the
it.
glider stuff?
Yeah, it all seems a little.
It's
Too much fun?
I'm comparing this again. I'm comparing this to Racing Transformed, in which you become a plane.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
the
actually
same
fly.
thing. One's gliding, the other's like
right.
full on
So
flying.
again, I'm
Yes.
comparing it to that, and also I think the water stuff, or the what is it, hover?
It's the little water
Oh, sure,
craft
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
that,
it's
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
It's like the
That's cool.
upside down hovery, whatever.
Yeah, it all feels very similar. In Transformed, it all controls very differently. And I kind of like that aspect of it. It really changes the race a lot of whether you're going to change and go fly or you're going to stay as a boat, because you have a lot different control.
Were you a Diddy Kong racing guy? Because that had the
not
planes and the
really.
hover boats.
Well,
Okay,
I
you might
do
have
like
liked
that stuff.
I
Diddy
like
Kong
that game
Racing
too.
is amazing.
I prefer Mario Kart 64.
I
Brutally
enjoyed
difficult,
the
though.
drifting in Racing Transformed more than I like the hop drift in Mario Kart.
Okay.
So the drifting in Racing Transformed allows you to store your boost. If you're drifting to the left, you can quickly then change it to the right, almost like the snaking.
Yeah.
But you can kind of save it all up for that bigger boost. What is it? Purple in Mario
Purple's the
Kart?
third phase. Yeah.
Right, but once you turn, you lose it. Right, like once you let off of the turn,
Once you
have
let
to
go of the
extend it.
stick, it automatically is like
Right,
sends you
or change to
forward.
the other direction, it'll go right.
It's when you let go of
I thought it was the jump
drafting button.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the-
yeah, the hop, the
the
trigger.
drifting
Yeah,
button.
yeah.
So I like that better in Transform, because you can take windier turns and store up the boost to get to the straightaway. Versus I found in Mario Kart, and maybe I just got to get more experience with it. Once you take a certain turn, you have to let it go to turn again the other way.
No,
You
so I do a lot of drifting. So if I have those quick double turns, I'll drift into one, and then maybe I'll be boosting when I'm drifting into the other one. But I can still drift.
Yeah.
No, you can still drift, but you can't save that boost
mean,
up to purple
It can
while
be
you're
a
taking
thing.
that turn.
It can be a thing where you get like, oh, I got a blue boost, and then I'm jumping. It's lots of little tiny boosts instead
Right.
of one big
boost.
snake.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I prefer
Okay.
the charging the
It's
big
if
one
you
up.
want to ride the snake.
I want to ride the snake. I want
Oh,
to charge that
don't
big
we all?
boost up. I prefer in Mario Kart, I prefer the before race boost to Sonic Racing Transform, where you just hold it down on 2,
Yeah.
the second thing.
Mhm.
Where in Sonic Racing Transform, you have to tap it on each beep of the thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I like Mario Kart's better.
Okay.
The car stuff, I'm still getting used to in Mario Kart 8 of like, hey, choose your car, choose your tires, choose your glider, and the character doesn't matter, right? It's just the,
No, it does. It's weight.
Yeah.
oh, it's weight.
Yeah. So smaller characters, they're going to get pushed around more, but they're going to have faster acceleration, so they're
Okay.
going to get started more.
I don't think I knew
Whereas heavier
that.
characters are going to push other people around
I-
more, but they're going to be slower to get
I
started.
just like how you said that.
I don't think. Well, they don't surface that because in the game they surface
don't.
the car stats.
Yeah,
But they
I think
don't-
they did in some of the earlier, like I think Double Dash. I feel like it was more.
I mean, that's how Mario Kart used to be. Like, if you're
Yeah.
Bowser, you're going to be heavier,
Yeah.
and if you're
Toad,
Toad,
yeah.
I thought they had just gotten away with it, so you could just use whatever character you want.
No, it's
No, it
it's
still
not
matters.
obvious, but it's like it's different classes of like
Okay.
here's the medium.
That's actually a
guys,
little
here's
worse,
the-
I think.
Does this feel like this to anyone else? That you're this like time traveler and you're here, and the first thing you want to know all about is
Painful.
Mario Kart 8.
Painful.
Well,
Deluxe, please, thank you.
we have a lot of other insightful things you might want to know about.
I think the track variety is awesome. I think the stages are great. I think.
What's your favorite track?
It's. I don't know. They're really busy, so I don't know the names of them yet.
What about like the airport one? That's a fun
one's
one.
great.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
What about I really like the Animal Crossing one and the Excite Bike one.
I like
Yes.
the Electrodome.
the Excite Bike one? I
Electrodome's
do
great.
remember that.
I
I
also-
like Mount Wario.
yeah, Mount Wario. I was just about to say that.
There was one that
Yeah.
was like all candy and sugar, and that
Oh, that's a fun
yeah.
one. Yeah.
The one in the
cloud.
clouds with the vines. That one's cool.
I'm not a fan.
I don't know about Mario Kart 8. This could be better than Sonic Transform, but it seems like there are shortcuts. On
There
the
are some.
tracks.
Yeah, you need
They're
to have
not as-
boosts, but yes.
Yeah, they're you
Almost
can have
there,
boosts, and
almost
sometimes
there.
they're more like you can choose which way you go, and like
Yeah.
some might be a little
But
bit
I like
faster.
that. And
yeah, me too.
And Sonic Racing Transform doesn't really have a lot of that. It has alternate paths sometimes of like you're going to be a plane or a boat, but not a lot of like risk reward shortcut stuff, which I do like in racing games. Anyway, I think Racing Transformed, it's a real car racer. But
Oh,
hey,
wow.
listen, Mario
Wow.
Kart 8,
Wow.
good show. Good show, guys.
Vinny, let's have a race off.
Okay. Okay.
I genuinely don't think that anyone outside
job, guys.
of Sega internal development has
No.
talked more about Sonic Racing
No.
Transformed than the man sitting across from me right now.
No.
When did that game come out? That's like 2010 or
12?
something.
What are you playing it on?
PC.
Like 2012, 2013, I want to say, maybe.
Maybe for that
Yeah.
second one, yeah.
Well, no, the
Hey,
second one hasn't come out yet, has it?
No, well, this is
Wait.
All-Star Racing Transformed. There's Racing Transformed, and this is basically the second one, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, Sonic.
I trust you to know that. I
Sonic
don't know
and
that.
All-Stars Racing Transformed.
Also, that's a pretty mouthy title compared to Mario Kart 8, even with the deluxe.
Even if you attach a deluxe to that, that's still way
All
less.
right,
syllables.
elevator's
Yeah.
down
Yeah,
there.
you're
Ship
not wrong
pieces.
there.
You know, remind me because you're playing all these games with your son.
Should be over here.
Your son's a little older, right? He's like 7?
No.
He just turned 6.
6, okay. Do you think it's okay for my son, who's about to be 3?
Mm-hmm.
He caught me playing
Uh-oh.
Burnout Paradise.
I want to spend my money.
Yeah, because I don't really like him, you know.
What were you like playing in the bathroom? What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, don't look at me. No, he saw it and he was like,
Wings,
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, and the crashes because he loves cars, and he thought the crashing was so cool.
Yeah,
All
it
the
is.
little bits and pieces.
I mean, he's
you-
not wrong.
That is an intuitive child.
So, but is that okay for him? I guess I'm
Burnout?
asking more of like
If-
a parenting
Can't
question.
answer that
there
question
was-
for
Well, what do
you.
you think on its face? You think it's probably okay?
If there
right?
was people violence in that game, I
Yeah,
would say no.
If there were people,
It's all up to you, man.
I'm just asking your opinion. Your
It's like
guys'
driving-
opinion.
Don't do it.
it's
a
like
trap.
driving
Don't do
radio-controlled
it.
cars into walls.
Yeah,
like,
and that's what he
how
does all
bad it
day.
is.
I'm not a parent, Jeff, but as someone who
Would
was
you let your
raised
dog
by
watch
Mortal
it?
Kombat
Yeah.
as a child, it's fine. You'll be fine.
It's comparatively very tame.
Abby,
Brutal.
your take?
I
Don't
don't
do it.
know.
Don't
You're an
answer,
adult.
Abby.
I don't know kids.
There you go.
Okay, that was very helpful.
I think it depends on the kid. I'm not a parent.
What I-
but-
I think it's
if you were
okay.
asking if your dog could play it, I would have an answer for you.
I have learned not to.
Would you let 3-year-old Max occasionally look at that?
Depends where 3-year-old Max was.
Okay.
Yeah.
If 3-year-old
how,
Max.
how does your son
Why?
react after you show him?
Oh.
But like, does he like go around being violent or like
No.
looking at real
No,
cars
we
and be like,
haven't
I
had
hope
any-
they crash?
No.
Yeah,
Is
right.
he like
exactly.
is he like getting on the family Netflix account and like renting David Cronenberg movies, or is it like
it was
okay.
funny because like we almost hit a deer the other day.
Oh, jeez.
Well, there's a lot of deer where I live,
Okay.
and
Oh, dear.
could have done without that
Oh,
one.
boy.
Yeah,
Everyone bully Vinny.
Yeah,
Come
he
on,
deserves
Vinny.
it this
God
time.
damn it.
Listen, if Mario Kart 8 is a 10, that joke was like a 10.1.
Okay,
Not sure you
Vinny.
understand
I'm gonna
scales.
Melvin the shit out of you before this is over.
You know,
Mario Kart 8 is great.
And he
It's a
understood
fun
like
game.
the inherent danger there. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we didn't hit the deer. We almost hit the deer. I was like, yeah, we didn't hit the deer, man. It's cool.
Yeah, it depends. There was a window there with Max where it was, I can play anything in front of him because
Right.
he's not absorbing
And I-
it,
and
and
I
then he was
understand
absorbing it, and then yeah. But he plays.
I realize I'm asking a question that has no answer because it varies by child.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
just thought it.
Max really likes Burnout.
That game is just like Hot Wheels with a lot of particle effects.
Totally.
Like
And
that's
that's what he
really all
loves.
it is.
He
It's
goes,
just
"You go
wrecking your Hot
smash."
Wheels a lot.
And if
He loves
it
Smash.
gives you any context, Max plays a lot of the stuff like Burnout Roxy is 3 years old and just sits there because she's the younger sister now. I'm not going to cordon her off in another room and say you cannot watch the things that we probably were more sensitive to.
Avert your eyes.
Yeah, she's like sitting there. She doesn't give a shit. She's like, "This is a dumb game. Play Racing Transformed." Anyway,
She's like, we should be playing Mario Kart.
we should play, she's a Mario Kart kid. Gosh, when she just put that controller down and got like 4th place, it was like, what is this game? What are we doing
It's pretty
here?
good. The game
How did
knows
she
that.
feel about it?
See, I don't want to lose my
Did
wings.
you feel accomplished?
But
I don't know if she thought she was doing anything. I think she was a little confused. Also, when I was playing and was like crushing the race and then got hit by a blue shell and was like, that's this game. Huh?
Vinny, you're salty.
It's
That's
salty.
what it is.
Salty
Vinny,
as
you're
hell.
bad at the game and you're salty.
Salty. Yeah.
The game
That's it.
knows when she just drops the controller. The game's
That's-
like, oh, there must just be a little kid playing this.
Yeah.
Here you go, 5th place.
Which I actually, like, again, I put it in the pros column because, like, you can turn that stuff off if you want. I think
It's
fun.
nice.
If you're worried about it being skill based, we could do a 4-person split screen stream.
Yeah,
one of these
200
days.
cc. I would love to.
Yep.
Oh, I bet- I
I
bet-
love
Alex,
Mario.
Abby,
I'm not
Yes.
even that good
Can
at
we?
200.
Yeah, I would love that.
I'm great at 200.
I think you guys would destroy me.
Okay, so you agree it's not just horse
This is
shit?
the run,
No,
Mario
it's not
Kart
just-
8.
I mean, if we played Sonic Racing Transformed, I would probably destroy you
Of
guys.
course, of
I
course.
don't know. We played once. We did okay.
Yeah.
We started learning.
I'm not sure
so,
there's
like,
any real skill to that game.
I'm not. Listen, put the controller down and try and win. That's my test. That's my litmus test in any racing
Get
game.
in.
Is can you get over 5th place if you just put the controller down?
Jesus Christ.
Which is very fun. So anyway, that's my Mario Kart 8 thing. I think it's a fun game. I'm glad to be I'm glad to have joined the good ship Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and
Yes.
look forward to hundreds of hours I will spend in it. And I'm sure by the end of those hundreds of hours, I will love it just as much as y'all do.
Just in time for Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform 2
yes.
to dominate the next 10 years of your life.
Time, I don't know how they improve on the perfection. Anyway, Alex,
Sonic has a new hat.
This level.
That's
has to
how.
be
Shit.
pretty good.
That's kind of it.
This is where I have to
Assassin's
use
Creed
rings.
is really the only thing. I mean,
Okay.
I've still been working my way through Yakuza and a few other things here and there, but that's kind of been it.
Abby, anything else but Far Cry?
I started playing The Council.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
People have recommended that to me. Should I play it,
Yeah.
Abby?
I don't love it so far.
Okay.
I'm playing through and I'm curious about it.
Can you give me the kind of gameplay
So
setup?
it is like an episodic game. Only the first episode has been released. It's somewhat similar to like something like Life is Strange, where it's a lot of dialogue, a lot of walking around, picking items up. But it's like a detective thing. So you are like this, like, it's like around the time of like George Washington era. And you are like this detective guy going around trying to find your
Pre-revolution
mother.
or like
I think it was
post-revolution?
when Washington was a president. I know this
Okay.
because he is in the game,
Uh-huh.
and it's weird.
All right.
But it's very much like secret societies and like
Ooh. Oh,
Illuminati
National
shit.
treasure.
I wish.
Wow.
How many coffins and?
Okay.
Yes, moving on.
Anyway, but I find the writing and the acting to be bad.
Okay, fair.
And considering it's such a like a narrative thing, it's kind of a turnoff. And it does some interesting stuff in the sense that there are like skill trees, and like it seems like you can cater your play depending on kind of the choices you choose as far as how you build your character, which is interesting for a game that's built like this.
So we're talking about The Council.
The Council.
Available on Steam and other places?
Yes, and I'm playing it on PS4, so I think
Okay.
it's also on Xbox. but-
You're familiar with like Nancy Drew series, adventure games,
Very
stuff like that.
familiar.
Yeah. So would you say it is kind of like the adventure game genre of go find things, use item on other item, get information? Or
less.
not really.
It seemed a
Maybe
lot
a-
more conversationally focused.
It is.
Telltale-y?
I think it's like I said, like Life is Strange. I think it's
Okay.
very similar to Life is Strange.
So more dialogue heavy.
A lot of dialogue, but like you're still going around, you're picking stuff up. There is a little bit of like puzzle solving of like I picked up this like pipe thing and then I could use it.
To smoke.
Basically, you have like these energy points, so you can use those energy points to like kind of persuade people in conversation. You
Oh.
can use them to like force a door open versus finding a key. But you only have a limited amount, and it's depending on like how many do you really want to use for this before you can like recharge your energy, kind of thing. And like, can you find a workaround that doesn't use energy, or are you just going to brute force it or
So
whatever it is?
a little like, hey, let's move forward with the game here. I'm going to use an energy bar just to like get past this puzzle.
No, less of that. I think, and more of just like a different way of playing, like a different strategy of doing it. Of like, it's less of like, oh, this is like a workaround cheat type of thing, and more just like, oh, this is a different way of playing.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
But the acting, not so good.
The writing and acting are bad, where like they will have stuff set up.
Get those points,
clear
man.
They're
Get
trying
those
to
points.
like
Fuck.
do in-game kind of mechanic exposition, but like
God
through
damn
the
it.
dialogue. But it's just like heavy-handed in a way that's like, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the lines that they would say of stuff like. I can't even think of anything, but it's just like not very good. And it's the acting is also like really strangely delivered. And like the whole time you're this guy trying to find his mother, she's like, well, mother must have been here, and mother this and mother that. And it's just like, ugh. And it's also I find the characters to have like really realistic like skin
Oh, fuck off.
texture, but like be kind of stylized in a weird way that makes like kind of uncanny valley stuff.
Like one of the main characters I saw from screenshots of that game looked like someone had done one of those like creepily humanified versions of Mr. Burns.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
It doesn't look right.
Right. And I've heard good things, so I'm curious to keep playing it.
I've heard good things. I've also heard that.
But
Yeah,
the acting and the writing I find to be really not good in a way that's making me be like, oh boy.
Like a recurring thing I hear is that like the writing is designed in such a way that it sounds very much like these people are only saying things like this to move the plot forward.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It is very game designy dialogue,
Yes.
not actual dialogue.
It feels like a game in like so many different ways. And I don't love that. I also don't love that, like, it's all fake characters for so long. It's like, okay, cool. And then I stumble and it's like George Washington.
Yeah,
and he's part of like a secret thing. And I'm just like, oh boy, I don't need this weird, like, retcon of history. You know what I mean?
But you love National Treasure.
I do love National Treasure, but that's because it's based in real history.
Oh boy.
It's also like, that's fun. And it doesn't take like a real politician or historical figure and like put them in a dumb game. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Give Ben Franklin those sick 3D goggles.
No, I'm fine with them being like, wow, George Washington wrote this book we just found. And less so being like, oh, here's some dude acting as George Washington. And like, there was like, oh my God, I'm trying to think. Hold on. I wrote it down somewhere. I want to see if I can find it. But George Washington, oh my God. Okay. So here's what it was. They said a line that was like, you know what they say? You can pick your nose, but you can't pick your family. And then George Washington laughed at that. That's what this game is. George Washington laughed at that line.
That's what this game
Sounds
is?
like George Washington is my kind of guy.
Oh God. Like, I don't know. I really want to like it because it seems interesting. And I like the idea of like a very kind of like the sort of skill tree based, like, Life is Strange type of game. But also all of the execution is really not hitting it for me.
I don't know. I'm kind of into the idea of George Washington extreme doofus. That sounds right to me. I'm kind of into it.
We should when we get a chance, we should try and take a look.
I want to try to do a quick look before
That's
PAX, hopefully.
The Council.
The Council.
Abby, anything else?
I think that's it. I'm still playing some Ni no Kuni. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I played some Mario Kart on the train the other day, and it's good as hell.
I've heard that game's pretty good. I played a little bit of it.
Very
It's like
good.
a very solid game.
Big fan.
Dan Reichert.
Yeah.
What's up? You play anything?
Yeah, we've been working on A Way Out.
Okay. You and the wife?
Yeah, and I'm very much in line with kind of how Alex feels about it. Like, I think there are definitely
No, exciting drama, contention, like conflict.
Oh, fuck.
It's a fine,
Here, no, let's just get it
Just
straight.
do
I hate this one.
You're wrong.
I think I'm right.
You're wrong.
No, I think I'm the right one here.
Okay.
I hate you.
Okay.
Is that what this game is like?
There we go. All
No,
right.
we just
No,
gotta
it's
bring the
argue.
excitement. It's a nuance is not exciting.
I hope A Way Out's better than
No, I
that.
think we
There
nailed
we
that
go.
one.
He
Yeah.
gets it.
It's dopey in a
It's
way.
very dopey.
Like the lines.
Why?
Like there's a lot of like several times that we've both it's evoked Tommy Wiseau in a way.
Oh shit!
And just like line delivery and some of the actual like dialogue and
A Way Out we should set up is that
the
co-op prison game.
local co-op. It's
Prison
online
break
too,
game.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but there are parts where the gameplay is really just kind of boring. Like, actually, I think a lot of the actual prison stuff is pretty boring because you don't have. There's not a lot of
Three
real
lives.
play with.
3 lives.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of setup. I think once there's some more freedom and everything,
Like once
and
you actually break out of the prison,
Yes.
like on that, the break sequence is good, and then the chase afterward is pretty solid.
yeah, and I like the things like once you're able to like, oh, one person's driving, one person's in the back of this truck with a shotgun. You know, you're running through the woods. You're doing stuff outside of just like slowly walking from cell to cell and trying to pass pass a thing to the other person. It gets better. There have been some fun moments for sure, but overall, it's not what I was very excited about that E3 trailer when they showed
those
it.
lawnmowers,
It seemed like such an awesome
honestly.
idea, and it still is cool. It's just not exactly what I wanted.
I mean, the thing with Brothers was that like it was kind of a tropey game. It definitely like had some cliches in it, but like it was delivered in an earnest way that didn't require like one, a whole lot of voice acting, and two, just like I don't know, like it felt good for what it was, and the story was like coherent in a way that worked.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like the gameplay works. Some of the scenarios are genuinely very solid, but anytime they try to like lend any emotional weight to anything going on, it's risible. Like it's comical.
I think maybe the part that's made me smile the most in that game is accidental, because I was playing basketball with this kid, and you can like shoot and try to dunk, and you can pass it to him and stuff. But I'm used to every basketball game I've ever played. If you hit pass, it like magnetizes to the closest available guy. And so the kid was like, "Hey, throw me the ball," and I wasn't facing him, and I hit the button thinking it would just pass it straight to him, but it just threw it across the court. Fuck you, kid. There's your ball.
Go get it.
I love
Did
that.
they react at all?
No, I just had to run and get it. And then
Did you do like a video? Did you get a video of it?
No.
Like
I
the worst
would've-
part of that is that, like half the time when you pass the ball to the kid, he just throws it back to you. Like he doesn't actually take the shot, kid. You're open.
And then the most awkward like shooting animation in the world. Like it's a weird game.
That whole scene feels like something that should have been cut, but ultimately wasn't, because it was the only part where they established like what that character's family life is like.
Yeah, that part's not great.
Yeah.
Overall, not too great. Also, MX vs. ATV. Do you remember that?
I
do.
do.
They used to
Speaking of the 90s.
Bringing back the
The
ghost of
90s,
THQ.
yeah. Yeah, I
Holy
used
crap.
to have to play those like every year for review in the mid-2000s. Like they came out all the time in the heyday of THQ. I have not played one in years, and so it was kind of nice to like, oh, weird, there's the THQ logo again. That's weird to see. And also, here's one of these games again.
THQ Nordic on it?
Yes.
Yes. They have the logo and everything.
And they
now
have kind
and
of
the rights
gone
and-
from just managing the pieces of the THQ catalog that like did not sell elsewhere
All right.
to actually putting out games
That'd be tough, right?
under that banner on
Yeah.
a little more
Yeah.
regularly. Yeah,
I'll take it. Yeah, we did a quick look for it. I thought it looked fun.
It's fine. I'm no expert on it, but it's fun to
Oh,
try to do
shit.
flips and stuff and
Really?
to bail. But also, I heard THQ was doing some other stuff.
you did.
Speaking of THQ bringing back things.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, the toy headquarters. Hey,
No.
heads up, we were talking about
Come
a layout,
on.
and we were talking about
Fuck.
MX versus ATV
VH1.
all out.
Yeah.
I know because I asked about a million zillion times because it's all just letters.
It's a lot of letters.
It's just letters.
But speaking of the
Speaking of letters.
toy headquarters and THQ,
What are they doing?
One of my, and maybe B tier games, one of my favorite silly games, full of promise.
Yeah.
But
I love this one too, Vinny.
maybe under delivered on some of the other stuff.
Yeah. Not on destructible environments.
Not on destructible
boy.
environments. Red Faction Gorilla.
Great
I'm
game.
sorry?
Red Faction Gorilla.
Ah, yes.
Gorilla, not Gorilla. Good.
I get it.
Gah.
Go,
Any
go.
Captain Ron fans here?
The Martin Short movie?
Yeah.
No.
Captain Ron?
yeah.
It's a Kurt Russell movie.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
It's a Kurt Russell movie, you think?
Oh,
There's
that's a
Martin
Kurt
Short-
Russell.
There's a Martin
He's
Short
the
movie?
titular character.
It's not a Martin Short
It's not
movie.
Clifford. Clifford's a Martin Short movie.
We all knew. Yes. it
You
is.
could put any dingbat in the Martin Short role, and you could probably get roughly the same result. You
Yeah.
put anyone else in the Kurt Russell role, you make anyone else Captain Ron, no one remembers.
I'm
Captain
willing
Ron.
to hear this argument.
The Kurt
okay.
Russell was sort of like known, is what I was
Yeah.
getting at.
Okay.
Kurt
anyway.
Russell is an irreplaceable talent.
He
Martin
goes-
Short is very talented,
He-
but
but
he's
other
replaceable.
people could have played
There's
that.
a
He's
part
been
of the-
replaced.
There's a part in that movie where he goes into the woods and Captain Ron's like, "Careful, there are gorillas in the woods." And Martin Short goes, "There are no gorillas in these woods. The gorillas don't live here." And then he gets captured by gorillas, and there's a whole confrontation. Gorilla, not go.
I get it. Your puns are amazing.
You-
Let's-
Not me. It's
He didn't make
movie.
Captain Ron.
I know.
Look,
I
he
know.
still
Wow.
thinks blue
Wait, can
shells
we
are
start that
interesting
rumor?
now. So, like, clearly he stopped. All his knowledge stopped around the
George
90s.
Washington and I made Captain Ron.
Let's start
in
the rumor
Secret
that Vinny wrote
Society.
Captain
And
Ron
he
before he got into the
was,
business.
He
I
was
would like
cracking
that.
up the whole time. Okay, Washington loved
no one
this.
can
Wow.
keep a straight face.
Yeah, nobody could see. It was a very anyway. Red Faction Gorilla was a game where you had a sledgehammer and destroyed Mars.
Yeah.
Basically,
Single-handedly.
single-handedly
Yeah,
took a
yeah.
sledgehammer to Mars anything that was left standing. I remember that game's tech was at the time, and I kind of don't want to play.
Yeah.
What the news here is there's a remaster.
Yes.
And I kind of don't want to play a remaster of it because in my head, still, you could take that damn sledgehammer and destroy every building to its front. Things that felt, in my mind,
Yeah.
200 feet high.
Like a
You'd go
silo, a
and
huge
knock the
concrete
supports
silo.
out and watch that thing tumble and fall. And it was amazing. The game itself, you had to go get dumb destruction points.
You'd get in a suit, like a weird mech suit thing.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like the knocking stuff.
You
Yes.
eventually got a gun. Abby, have you ever played it?
No, but I've watched people play
Okay.
it. It seems very fun.
You
It
got
seems
go-
very satisfying.
Yeah,
to play
very
too.
satisfying. You got a gun that just made the world disappear. It just evaporated.
How do I get one of those?
The gun. So anyway, Red Faction Guerrilla, they're making a remaster, and
Oh, damn it. I know where we're going.
What?
I can't believe they used my idea after writing Captain Ron with Washington. We
Yeah.
scribbled on the back of a napkin this
Yeah.
idea in case they ever remastered Red Faction Guerrilla. They apparently are using it. Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered. It's R-E-R-E-M-A-R-S.
It's a simple word.
Is that worse than Darksiders Definitive Edition?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. 'Cause it's a real mouthful.
It's a stretch. yeah.
Remastered.
Remastered. It's remastered.
remastered.
Okay.
Yeah, remastered.
Yeah, it's not
It
Miss
sounds
Marster
funnier.
Red.
Well, it's like. what is it?
So first point, how dare they? Second point, fucking perfect.
Yeah,
Fucking
whatever.
perfect.
Yeah, who cares? That's appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Third,
I
how
love
dare
Rod
they?
Farkshin remastered.
Remastered.
Rard Farction.
I wish the main guy was named Rod Farkshin.
Almost there.
Rad Farm.
Mr. Farkshin.
I will only allow this if they name the first part of this game Rod Marster.
I would like to go play it.
When can you go play it?
Let's see.
I think it's second quarter 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
That's soon, right?
That's
It's gonna be-
Are we still in the first quarter? How do quarters work?
We're about to
What
break
month is
over.
it?
We're a week away from Q2.
There's four of
Okay.
them.
I don't understand.
yeah, so
you
expect-
lost me.
So expect all those the games
Almost
to
there.
dump out
Almost there.
before the end of the quarter. So we've got it coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Windows.
That's
What quarter
cool.
is Red Dead?
That's more like
That's probably
October.
That's
Three.
all.
I just
25
want to say
levels.
that's all I want this year is Red Dead.
It's the big one.
And then we're done.
Based on what we know right now, that might be all you're going to get.
Yay!
God of War.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of like fall so far.
Oh,
like
fall,
that's kind
yeah.
of the big one we know about. Well, and Black Ops
And
3
other-
or
yeah.
4, whatever fucking Black Ops it is.
Hey, I'm down for that too. I love Call of Duty now.
Did you know the Darksiders Remaster Edition? Did you know Darksiders Remastered?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
vaguely.
Yeah, both of them did.
Did you know
Both
the
of them.
Darksiders Remastered Edition was Darksiders War Mastered Edition?
The first one?
That's not even a good pun.
Oh, wait, so the second one was Definitive?
Yeah. The second one's the remaster.
All right.
No, oh, yeah, but it was also like all
3
the,
lives.
Extra
To
stuff.
lose
Is that
any
third
life at
life?
any time.
Still happening.
Yeah.
Apparently
Oh,
it's still
whoa.
happening. So this is being done by
It's the one that had that trailer that didn't look good.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
don't even remember that.
The worst is
studio,
ice cream trucks.
KIKO,
Second,
Psycho,
lawnmowers.
is the
Then
one
those
that's doing the
shadow
remaster,
guys,
and they are
invisible
doing
guys.
Darksiders 3. So interestingly enough,
Weird.
All right.
Feels like
anyway,
it's going to be like a heavy E3 banner game. Do you know what I mean?
Insofar as THQ Nordic will
Darksiders?
have a heavy E3 presence, yes, that
Yes.
would probably be.
Like there will be a lot of printed banners for Dark. That feels like a game that will have that.
Like Nordic is going to slide in there and take like up 1/4 of what used to be
Yeah.
the Microsoft booth, and it'll
Yeah.
have that, and it'll have I don't know, like 17
Jesus
more MX
Christ.
TV games.
It's like a
and-
lot of horses on fire and stuff.
I like Gorilla. We'll see how that goes. I didn't really like.
Speaking
the
of
rest
easy
Red
come,
Faction.
easy go.
No.
I
Armageddon
mean,
was really
Jesus.
disappointing because it was all like in caves
All right.
and shit, and what you wanted to do is run around on the surface and fuck everything
Yeah,
up.
Crazy.
Armageddon is a bummer.
Financially, I think also a bummer, and that's
Yeah.
why we have not seen a Red Faction
Yeah.
along with a THQ for.
I mean, that's not necessarily a series I need anyone to resurrect, but like
Yeah.
in this context, I can
Sure.
I can
They,
see the appeal.
they were ambitious games. I mean, that first one with the
Geomodding?
geomodding, yeah,
Yeah.
like that was fun as hell. Just like shoot rockets at the ground and see how deep you could go. But
Yeah, listen,
How
I'll
how
get
much
that-
is
I'll
this
get
going
my-
to cost? This
I don't think that's been.
remastered?
I don't think that's been announced yet. At least I did not see a price attached to it.
Okay.
from
If
anything.
it's more than $40, that's too much.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say
Oh, yeah.
20.
I would agree, especially if we're just like turning the knob on resolution and new assets.
It's not just the knob, Vinny.
I'm not trying to reduce.
There are dials.
Sounds like you are.
I'm
Food's
not trying to
good.
reduce it.
There's a button.
I'm just saying I don't think remastered versus a
Fuck.
Remastered.
remastered versus
It's worse every time you say it.
a remake. I don't think this is a remake.
Yeah.
which is cool because I just want to make the buildings fall down. All right, Destiny 2. Anybody still playing Destiny 2 here?
No.
All right, well,
Moving along.
we'll just go
Saw
through
it
this quickly.
updated.
Yeah, there's some new update. Apparently, some of the big things of this update you will not be able to get 2 of the same exotic engrams in a row.
That's good.
Yeah,
Oh, in a row. That happened to people. That sucks.
I know that sucks.
Woof.
I think I got that once.
Ugh.
You will have strike-specific
Alright.
loot, which I guess is cool.
Yeah.
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 They probably one of the bigger things they are making the Crucible 6v6
for
again.
fuck's
Like
sakes.
Destiny 1, not 4v4.
Really?
Yeah. Not everything needs a comment. Yeah. that's just
Fucking.
happening.
They're
Ah.
upping the player count as the player count goes down. That makes sense.
Hey, listen, you gotta get more. You gotta get fewer matches, but
Yeah.
more people in that match.
Yeah, fair.
And a bunch of other changes to the guns and stuff like that. But that's pretty
I mean,
interesting.
where are they on the content calendar for that thing? Like, have they done like
We're in season 2, right?
have they said that they're like what their next big expansion thing is?
They do have one, I believe.
Yeah.
They're not bad with that stuff. I feel like they do kind of show you where they're headed.
Yeah, I
in
know
the
there's a roadmap. I'm just not sure where they're at on it right now.
Like, is that doing well? Because like Destiny 1, like it almost built Steam, and I don't know if it was just us here that all fell off so fucking hard, or if
Destiny 2.
overall, if people are just not playing.
I
it
really-
The
as much.
few check-ins I've done with people I know who are still playing that game is that there is definitely a dedicated diehard fan base that is ongoing.
Okay.
But like, it sounds like there has not been. I don't know. I feel like a number of people I know who were like into it for a while have just not gone back at all.
I've played it here and there.
Yeah.
Play with my brothers and stuff, and still very similar.
I feel like if people were like, "Hey, I'm gonna play this thing or play Destiny. Do you want to hop on?" I'd be like, "Okay, sure." But it's
Yeah.
like that's a social game for me, and if my friends aren't playing it, I'm
Right.
not playing
I
it.
literally have not logged in since we finished the raid.
They've done interesting tweaks, some interesting tweaks with the Nightfalls and the challenge of the Nightfalls. That update 1.1.4 comes out on March 27th.
You mean Wednesday?
That means
Last Wednesday.
last Wednesday. So that's it.
It's out there.
Great.
You can get it.
No Man's Sky. Hey, this is kind of exciting. I'm going to tap my notes here. No Man's Sky coming to Xbox One.
Yes,
Remember No Man's Sky?
I do.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Remember
The game's relaxing.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that game.
Speaking of putting a ton of updates out, they are continuing to put updates out. There's another update coming, and also
Get up.
an Xbox One version will be coming out, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And they'll
I'm-
roll that out with all the updates, so it'll be basically the game.
Back to square
yeah,
one
that
you
would
go.
be amazing. You have
It's
to
actually the
live
pre-patch
through
version.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been trying to find a good
Holy
excuse to
fuck.
jump back into that game.
You've
for a
been
while.
actively trying.
But I've been thinking about it. Like,
Oh.
I'd like to. It's just, it's
so
very
many ice cream
hard
trucks.
to justify playing a bunch of hours of that 2-year-old game
Yeah.
when there's a million other things I need to be playing.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, I even tried to hop into it when they had that big update, and I did a bit, and it was super fun. I mean, it was it was good. It was a good update. I
Jesus.
enjoyed it. I think
Holy
it's a
fuck.
relaxing game.
Fuck.
But also, I have other stuff to play, and I
Yeah.
think that ship has sailed for me.
I think when this summer update comes around, they haven't really detailed exactly what's going to be in it, but just that they are working on a sizable thing. I think when that comes around, that might be my justification to finally jump back in and be like, all right, what's up with this?
They say this will be their biggest update so far, and they've had pretty big updates.
Yeah, I mean, the one where they added all the bases and they sort of added the different story layer than what was originally there, like that was pretty significant.
Totally.
So that's coming out later this year, the 2018 calendar year.
They're targeting summer, I think.
The Xbox One version will also support 4K and HDR. So
Sure.
if you got the means,
Nice. My understanding is there's still a pretty big community, or at least an excited community who's still playing it.
yeah, I guess.
I think there are people. I don't know. I feel like I've read all these articles of it being like, people have made like a government in No Man's Sky, and like
Okay.
they've made this crazy community and all this stuff.
I mean, I've definitely seen
Yeah,
people
so
I know
pure.
still talking about it from time
Yeah.
to time.
Apparently, the
Where's-
disc releases are going to be
There's
distributed
no shit
by
piece here.
505 Games, which I guess.
I mean, Sony published the PS4 version,
Yeah.
and I don't remember if anyone published the PC version on disc, but
I don't even know if they printed disc. on the
Wow.
PC version,
Yeah.
but I assume
Jesus.
somebody did. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
No Man's Sky. Good to see it getting off of a console exclusive and
Yeah.
moving on. Doom 4 is getting a 4K patch for the Xbox One and PS4 Pro. That's
Cool.
a little quick
Okay.
hit. Yeah, it's actually getting real close to thinking about
23.
thinking about it. Getting close to
23.
getting a PS4 Pro at this point.
Nice.
And actually,
you have that fancy TV. Why
Yeah, what
wouldn't
are you doing?
because I play a lot of my stuff on the PC, so it's stuff that would only be on the console, but Doom 4 in 4K.
Yeah.
I don't have a 4K PC monitor either, so don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Doom 4 and 4K is
23.
really
All
good.
right.
And I would have to probably buy it
Ship piece, I think, for this
again
one.
on
Yes.
PlayStation 4, but I heard that version's great.
It's
So-
great.
It's probably cheap too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to.
Hey, you're just wasting that TV, man.
Yeah.
No,
You
truly.
guys will just set that thing on fire.
You don't
boy.
have anything. You're not watching anything in 4K, man.
I am. I'm using this world's greatest console, playing the world's greatest game, Switch, and Mario Kart 8.
Nope. No, you're
I
not.
see all those cheap blue shells.
I
in
mean-
4K.
I'm just saying you're wasting your big
Yeah.
fancy schmancy
I will say-
television.
So I watch stuff with my
I
family
was
on
slow
it.
I'm not
to-
saying
Are you saying I'm wasting my life with
I'm
my
not saying
family?
it's turned off in the corner and you're not using it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you're not putting the right stuff in there.
Well, I got to spend money to make money.
That's
not
analogy
really the
doesn't
thing.
It's
apply
like,
here.
it's like you're putting sugar in your gas tank, man.
What?
No, that would break it. It's like you're putting.
And that's what he's doing. He's breaking it with the ugliness. The
Oh,
ugliness
man.
of shit-looking games.
Oh man, I like shit-looking games.
Also, this is ridiculous because, like, whatever. I've been playing like Assassin's Creed on regular PS4, but it still has the HDR support, and
Right.
I've looked at the two side by side. Like, I've looked at the 4K version of that, and it's like the difference is so negligible. Like, with the HDR support, it still looks really
HDR
good.
helps a lot, but
Yeah.
when you really do side by side, not
Yeah.
just flipping back and
You're
forth.
right. I don't have two TVs
Yeah.
next to each other. You're right.
We've done that.
We've done it.
Yeah.
The HDR was definitely the thing
Yeah.
I saw more.
Just get a fucking PlayStation.
That game
4.
still looks.
I should get a. Well, the bigger
Pro.
thing is I'm on the fence now of do I get the bigger hard drive for my regular PlayStation or do I just get the Pro?
Just get the Pro.
I'd probably just get the
and then
Pro.
get a 2 terabyte drive like you
Yeah,
would anyway.
like a normal person.
Wait, what does the Pro come with? 1 terabyte?
1 terabyte.
still?
But
What
that's
Although I
chicken shit.
haven't had issues with my 1 terabyte Pro,
well, the original
but
PS4,
I also buy physical games.
The original
Oh.
PS4
You
came
have
with
to install
500
it.
gigs,
Yeah.
not a terabyte.
right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bring
Which-
shoes.
Fucking build up immediately.
Yes.
All right. PUBG.
Yep.
It's getting weapon skins.
Wonderful.
Sure.
I have played not a lot of PUBG since everybody else abandoned PUBG and left it there.
Yeah,
But
I still play like once a week.
All right.
oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot. Like I'll play like 1 or 2 rounds and then that's it.
Daniel Dwyer's out there winning chicken dinners.
Yep.
Every night.
Matt
I-
Pasquale's still getting his.
I have played a decent amount of Fortnite. I just am not getting into it. I enjoy the slower pace, I think, of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
I prefer
It's
it, yeah.
different. I think people who try to say this is recreating the same. I mean, it's a battle royale, but I do think there are significant differences.
I think it's a goofier, more lighthearted, quicker thing. I
Faster.
think it's more accessible. I think I get it. I get the appeal. For
Wait,
sure.
why are we talking about Fortnite in this context? Is it now a thing where anytime you mention
Yes.
PUBG, you have to
I think
mention
so.
Fortnite?
Since
by
Fortnite
default?
became the biggest
Okay.
fucking thing in the world.
Contractually
Yeah.
obligated. I just it's the cosmetic stuff that PUBG is getting into also reminds me of where Fortnite is.
I mean, this is a natural extension
Yeah,
of the
this
kind of
is-
thing that major shooters do.
They all
Rock.
go through this. It's like
Yeah.
adolescence. It all happens. We
Yeah.
all experience
your
the
gold
same
guns.
changes.
Look, the thing I fundamentally still like about PUBG that I keep going back to is just, again, the pace of that game's play. And it feels like it doesn't sound like they're trying to do
Eat
anything
tomatoes,
that's going to,
man.
like,
Slingshot,
change that
tomato-
anytime soon to compete
tomatoes,
with Fortnite. I'm
something.
sure at some point they'll do like an arcade mode or whatever.
Well,
but
they have
like,
that smaller map, the 4x4 map, which I wonder if that'll speed things up. Not
4x4
yet.
map?
Yeah, it's not out yet.
Oh,
but,
okay.
they're
Oh,
working
fuck.
on a smaller
Oh,
map
fuck.
Okay.
That I wonder
Oh.
if
I have not been keeping up
Fuck.
with their development updates, so I'm not actually sure where they're at with stuff.
we got to start
Shit.
reporting instances of where you hear Fortnite referenced in a place you never
How do we even get in there
thought
now?
You would hear
Yeah.
something like that referenced.
Norm
before.
MacDonald tweeted about it.
what?
I've never
Okay,
seen
that
Norm
qualifies.
MacDonald mention a video game in his entire life.
What is he tweeting about it?
He's really weird on Twitter. If it's not just 9,000 things about golf, it's something like
he loves golf.
oh my god, he's tough. He's my favorite comedian in the world, but god damn it, I can't follow him on Twitter.
He's just golf.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think he was joking because Roseanne tweeted about it. You know, he's writing on the new Roseanne show, so he said something like, "Oh, no one can beat me at Fortnite. Not a man in this world can beat me at Fortnite Battle Royale." And I think he was just fucking around. But even just seeing Norm tweet it, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh boy,
It's tough
you
to
think
read.
he got paid to do it?
No.
What?
You think fucking Epic's going
What
to
is
Norm
that?
McDonald? Yeah, here's
It's the last place
the
you'd
kids
look.
love this
The last place
old
you'd think.
cranky comedian.
Hey, listen,
Norm McDonald's.
maybe
What?
he was
Canadian.
on the award show that time.
Come on.
The ESPYs in
Fuck
like
off.
97?
Was that 97? No.
The one where he made fun of King Griffey and made everyone really uncomfortable?
No. It was like the MTV Awards or something like that.
What?
No, it was like the YouTube
The
Awards.
hell are,
Oh,
the
that
YouTube
thing,
red
yes.
carpet comedy thing.
Yes.
My favorite 24
So
minutes
somebody-
on YouTube. All the stars are here.
That is
fucking
a video.
sweatpants and
Somebody
smoking
needs to hit that
cigarettes.
with the blue shell. That is
It's one of my favorite videos on the entire internet.
it's a really rough watch.
Jenny Slate just trying so hard to keep that train on the tracks, and Norm
Oh,
just
what
derailing
an
it.
asshole.
He's the best.
He is
Anyway.
the best asshole.
He is
Oh,
the-
yeah.
All right. Well, Dan. Speaking of best assholes, what's John Cena up to?
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a great asshole.
Burn.
Fantastic.
Like just immaculately,
Yeah.
like
Very
like,
vascular.
like trimmed.
Yeah, it's probably just
Waxed
muscular. You
to
said
perfection.
muscular?
No,
You said
vascular.
Vascular.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a vascular asshole? I don't.
I don't know, but that is now my go-to insult for people.
You
You were
vascular
You
ass.
vascular asshole!
Oh, they're gonna turn that little light on for the studio next door.
Yeah.
Just keep
It just
screaming
looks like a
that.
mad ball.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it sounds like, okay, they're saying he's confirmed to play Duke Nukem, but also, like, any fucking news about any fucking video game movie, I'll believe it when I see it. They've been saying Metal Gear movies ready to go for the
Fuck.
last
Did we
20
talk
years.
About this? I
Yeah,
think I made
we
a
did.
Yeah,
episode.
but now a bunch of stories came out saying, like, nope, we got him. It's
Okay.
confirmed, but also I don't think there's a script
Yeah,
or anything.
we got him. Man, we landed that one.
Yeah,
Really
see,
got the right man for the job on this one.
I think he is the right guy for that.
I think
I-
it should be Ron Perlman.
Honestly, I think John Cena's too good
Pump
for it.
shoes.
Ron Perlman could
Yeah.
play like the future
Oh,
Duke
the, like,
Nukem.
Dark Knight
Yeah.
Returns
Yeah,
version.
Bring
the
shoes.
2188 version of
Yeah.
Duke
Yeah,
Nukem.
I would see that actually. Yeah, but no, it's
but
going to
yeah,
be John Cena.
That's pretty low
I
hanging
mean, the
fruit.
real
man.
answer
Yeah.
is to get like I don't know, fucking resurrect like Brian Bosworth or something, and then just
Howie
like,
Long.
and then just overdub all the voices with Will Arnett.
Okay, there we go.
Or like Dolph Lundgren, like and
Yeah.
have him storm through.
Yeah.
and
Because
just get voice it
and
over
you,
with
you
John
actually
St. John.
Not
should totally
good.
get like a kind of over the hill action dude for that, because the only way you can make a Duke Nukem story interesting is if you try and like insert like shitty asshole like action guy
Vascular.
bravado like that into a world that does not give a fuck about him.
Yeah, if he
anymore.
is just the lame, it's like, what? These
Yeah.
jokes suck now. Like, what
Yeah,
are you
like,
doing?
what are
You're
you
lame as
doing?
hell. Like,
so you think the premise of is you just be like washed up action guy?
I think that isn't that what I never saw, but that JCVD movie wasn't that kind of like down on his luck post prime Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's like him like getting trapped in a bank robbery when he's already kind of down on his
Oh,
luck as an
okay.
actor, and like the world kind of rallying around him as he's taken hostage, and like for like everyone's expecting him to like action movie his way out of that.
But he's like
shit.
old and sad.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like you can't do a Duke Nukem movie
Where he's
now with a
badass.
straight face.
No.
It's
Yeah.
impossible to
Yeah.
do that.
No, they're not going to be like, oh, it's modern Duke Nukem.
Like-
He's back and badder than ever.
I
Who
think
would
they
want to see
will.
that, and who
Really?
would take that seriously?
I think they will do
maybe
that,
they
though.
will.
Well,
I mean,
then
that'll suck.
That will be
Yeah.
a massive failure.
Oh,
And that'll like test real well.
I mean,
You think it'll test well?
I mean, look at Duke Nukem Forever. Like, that game was very much Duke Nukem in the way Duke Nukem always was, and people did not like it at all.
So what if they do it where all the trailers show it's like, yeah, fucking up these aliens, and I'm the president, and they show that in all the trailers and all that stuff, and all the like the whole Duke Nukem guns and babes thing, and then everybody's like, fuck this shit, and then they show it in the first 15 minutes is him, yeah. And then somebody's like, Duke, wake up. Hey, fucker, wake up. And he's just on a street, like,
Just
kinda-
surrounded by, like, jack bottles and stuff.
Totally.
It's
and
just like a
that's the
cop's
rest
like,
of the
you
movie.
can't sleep here.
Very serious. The rest of the movie is just in black and white of him, just like
Whoa.
an expose on like down on your luck, trying to make it
Whoa.
through
Yeah.
America. That would be way better. Because the aliens won, he fucked up, and the aliens won, and he's kind of just working his
Yeah.
way through it.
If it's self-aware in, like, a Last Action Hero kind of way, like, yeah,
Oh, can't say enough good stuff about this.
it's a great film.
God, it's so
That's
good. I know it
It's-
comes
it's
up all the
really
time,
good.
but it's
It's
so
aged
damn
so
good.
well. It's so great.
It really has.
Last asshole hero.
A lot of good practical effects.
I
in
don't know
that
if I love
movie.
the ending.
No.
The ending could use a little work. You're
Yeah.
talking about when like they go back to the real world.
Yeah, the
Wow,
theater.
spoilers.
I'll just say the
Uh,
theater, the whole theater part, and
Oh, and doesn't what's his face?
raincoat. and
the
whole thing.
Ripper.
Gandalf comes down and he's like,
Oh, yeah. Ian McKellen.
yeah.
I did have to play the Super Nintendo Last Action Hero game on a stage on Monday night.
Oh,
What?
how'd that
Oh,
go?
yeah, how was that?
It was fun.
For what?
I was coming fresh off
Okay.
of film in 40s, so I was not sober.
So you were not fresh.
No,
Also fresh off of Con Air.
You fresh off Con Air, and then Mike Drucker does that shit arcade show in Brooklyn, and so I did not know what I was going to have to play. And Mike Drucker took his childhood Zelda pillowcase into the crowd, and they pulled out a Last Action Hero cartridge, and I had to play that, and that game sucks ass.
Yeah. Well,
Most of those movie license games of that era sucked ass.
Oh yeah.
What other games do people play?
I'm very happy that
Wow.
Michael Jordan Chaos in the Windy City came up because that game is hilarious. Shaq Fu was there. The Mary Kate and Ashley Pocket Planner game
Wow.
was there.
Can I ask you kind of a question? And if you're not comfortable answering it, because I know you don't want to talk ill of anybody or
Oh, man,
for
you're about to
anybody
get real.
Well, let's
here,
do
aren't
it.
you?
Let's do it.
I want.
I'm here, Vinny.
Are people who are professionally funny good at that stuff? Like, are funny people good at the kind of riffing on the video games?
I think
Wow, Vinny,
I
you
think-
asked Dan this and not me, a professional comedian.
Dan, you've been around professionally funny people.
Yes,
Um,
yes. I think they were very good at that because it's not a video game crowd necessarily you're playing to, and like so many of like my jokes and references are very much like thing. Whereas, like,
very
they-
good.
Holy
Love your
fuck.
comic
So
books.
Dan got booed off the stage. Is what you're
You know,
saying.
I was really drunk. Honestly, I don't remember what the hell I said half the time. But I just remember thinking,
But I
like,
know it was
oh, these other guys,
hilarious.
Josh Gondelman, and
Yeah.
all these guys that are used to working like crowds in comedy
Ugh.
context. I think they did a very good job with it. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So the bad news is that no, we are not specialized in this job, and in fact, funny people.
Oh, for fuck! Are you kidding me? Fuck. Give you money, but I can't spend it. Fuck. Is that the water? Maybe? Are you kidding me? Oh. Okay, shit. Alright. All I need is like wings. What is with the fucking bees? Fuck. Mm. If I get wings, I could probably do it. Scout around real quick. Well, no, I know where they are.
German.
Thank you. I hate this game. That's done. Nice. Root beer still in effect. The root beer. I think that's just the Easter egg. Oh, there's Earl. Looks like you son of a bitch. Fuck you. there anything else or just that's it? Interesting. I guess that's it. All right. Good, the bad, the rating. The good. Lots of enemies. Jump in the water and drown. Let me see. Nope. I guess I'm playing a Funkatron. You can breathe underwater. Funny. Various enemies. And although I didn't play it, I do like the procedural levels. Bad. Whoa. Music was terrible. Repeating music. I don't want to say difficulty, because the game was hard, but it's not that bad. Failed levels, though. Same level for all 25 levels. They could have fleshed that out a bit. And let's go with 5 out of 10, because I will never play that ever again. Ever. Five hours, 14:56. All right. Done with that one.